The action begins on a busy roadway in South Korea, a modern society where every settlement is a huge anthill. The traffic light on the pole electrifies and something in this world changes, albeit imperceptibly to all the people around. We move into the crowd amongst all the people, but what are we doing here? At the level of everyone else's gaze. The gaze moves downward and we can clearly see the feet, which at this moment are as if they were ours. The man throws his arms straight up to us so we can see that the owner of this body is clearly a man. Finally, we see him from the outside, and that's when the guy realizes himself. He doesn't realize where he is. A guy sees his face in the reflection of the bus and doesn't recognize himself. Who is he and how did he get there? A young man is confused trying to remember his own name. The emptiness of the memory is disturbing. His attention is drawn to what he is wearing now, a black t-shirt with an emblem and khaki pants. The clothes seem foreign and unfamiliar. The boy studies the fabric of the suit, hoping to find some clues. Nothing reminds him of the past. A man examines a uniform, trying to determine its origin. The military cut is questionable. He lifts his head to the sky, no name, no memory. The hum in his ears adds to the disorientation. A sharp sound makes him flinch. Instinctively he tensed, ready for danger. The guy abruptly turns 180 degrees and gets into a fighting stance, preparing to fight to the death. His fist tenses up and slams straight into some tree with tremendous force. Yes, a real threat that requires immediate action. The tree was so dangerous that the young man punches through it with a single blow. Now the oak tree in the center of town won't hurt anyone else. People on the street are scared of this crazy tree killer. Such actions in the center of the city could not but cause a violent reaction from normal people. The body reflexively reacts to the alarm. An incomprehensible force ripples through the muscles. The hero looks at the palm of his hand, feeling a strange connection to an unknown energy. There are more questions than answers. Suddenly a voice sounds and the stranger introduces himself as an agent. His voice sounds mechanical but familiar. He turns around himself and looks around for the nearest places on the street, but he doesn't see anyone nearby. The AI explains its role. The system is implanted in a man's body. The origin of the technology remains a mystery. The man looks around further and considers what to ask IA. He decides to ask what year it is and where it is. A guy discovers he's in Seoul 2024. The banners around confirm the information. The robot reveals its origins from the year 2082. The man realizes that this military AI is from the future and becomes speechless. He asks if he himself also came from the future. The agent admits that his memory has also been erased. The shared amnesia brings the strangers together. At this time, the traffic light is still flashing uncontrollably and the person on the truck becomes the victim of this situation. He hits the brakes but doesn't have time to do anything that would have prevented the accident. Sensors detect an approaching object. The AI warns of the threat, but details are unknown. The man stares tensely into the distance behind him. A car comes straight at him, aiming to knock him down and run him over. The hero prepares for a confrontation. The power within awakens, responding to the danger. The bus collides with the fence and the iron bar rushes off at breakneck speed in some direction. Now the AI detects a new dangerous object heading towards the protagonist, a huge iron rod. He listens to the system himself, or his body automatically did what it needed to do. But he manages to dodge the rebar either way. But the man turns back and sees a horrible picture. Instead of him, the rebar hit another guy. A metal rod is sticking out of a man's body. Surrounding people are terrified and call for an ambulance. The hero and AI analyze the situation. The injury is critical. Immediate intervention is required. The chances of survival are slim. A man notices a flash of red and blue in his field of vision. AR Linza explains it's a signal from the threat alert system. Thanks to the clues he managed to avoid danger, and he managed to do it very easily. But a wounded civilian won't survive without immediate assistance. Time is running out. AI offers emergency surgery in the field. The decision is risky, but there are no alternatives. The guy says he can't do it, but the artificial intelligence promises to do everything he needs to do for him. The first step is to assess the condition of the casualty. The agent puts his questions aside, focusing on the rescue. A girl in the crowd screams about a metal bar in a man's stomach. Panic is growing, time is running out. Doubts remain, but the priority is to stabilize the wounded man. Artificial intelligence is starting a scan. The wound is deep and involves internal organs. The operation requires a needle, thread, knife, and antiseptic. He looks up to a random guy and talks about how he needs these tools to save a man right here on the spot. The collected instruments raise doubts in the crowd. People whisper, "He's not a doctor, this is madness." The agent demonstrates equanimity. AI instructions are accurate, but human error remains a risk. A man asks passers-by for surgical instruments. The protagonist is still a bit doubtful about whether this AI can be trusted or not. The items collected seem primitive. Questions about the doctor's competence hang in the air. The crowd looks on in horror at what the man wants to do, but the AI confirms there are enough resources. All that remains is to overcome the fear and begin the procedure. The risk of blood poisoning is extremely high. AI offers temporary control over the hero's motor skills. The transfer of control causes resistance. The body tenses, but the mind agrees to the experiment. The hands begin to move automatically. The precision of the movements exceeds human capabilities. The process of transferring control is complete. Movement becomes robotic but efficient. The AI corrects every step. The hero feels like a tool in the hands of the algorithm. The operation continues. The line between man and machine is gradually blurring. Progress is displayed in real time. The chances of success are decreasing with each second. Voltage is peaking. There's no room for error. The AI works with jewel-like precision. We're close. One last stitch and the patient is stable. Relief mixed with fatigue. But suddenly, something happens. Suddenly the hands freeze. The technology fails. Panic returns. What do we do now? The AI is rebooting the system. Seconds seem like an eternity. A man's life hangs in the balance. The AI doesn't respond and eventually more blood spurts out of the patient on the pavement, soiling everything around them, including the protagonist. The guy watches all this madness in embarrassment and realizes that things are clearly bad for him. The hospital building and its name is accompanied by a cry for help. A patient with massive blood loss requires urgent surgery. A rescued patient is stable, but the savior's methods raise questions. Disappeared hero remains anonymous. Shocking details: the bleeding was stopped with ordinary thread, stitches were placed with machine precision. Doctors do not believe in the success of field conditions. The wounded man was operated on with a box cutter and a sewing needle. The stitches are perfect, as if they were done by an algorithm. Medics discuss the absurdity of the situation: sewing thread instead of surgical thread, lack of sterility. But it's as accurate as a sewing machine. Witnesses confirm the operation was performed minutes before the ambulance arrived. The mysterious savior is a master of improvisation. Detective Park Ki-jun arrives on the scene. The patient is alive, but the methods of rescue, a knife and household string, are shocking. Questions about John Doe's professionalism: how do you cut a body with a clerical blade so cleanly? Versions vary. The savior has disappeared, leaving only hints. His motives and identity are a major mystery to the investigation. Witnesses are unanimous. The needle was bent from a sewing kit. The details of the operation sound like a science fiction scenario. A detective demands to find a mysterious surgeon. He left the place before the medics arrived, leaving no trace. The questions remain: who is he? Is he a self-taught doctor, a robot, or a carrier of illegal technology? The investigation continues. The frame changes to our protagonist inquiring about a technical glitch. The system explains the pause by calculating the optimal surgical route. The question of memory loss remains unanswered. The AI admits to the data reset but hides the reasons. Tensions rise. Should we trust a machine whose motives are unclear? Partnership teeters on the edge of risk. The AI is named Jung Jian. The system is embedded in the hero's body and its role is combat support and threat analysis. The human-machine nexus is deepening. Questions about the nature of AI remain rhetorical for now. A joke about changing his name to Black Dragon brings the AI to a standstill. It agrees with the new name and doesn't want to change it to another name. A patch labeled Earth Union is found on the hero's arm. The AI links it to the secret works of the future. The year the system was created is 2082. The technology is ahead of its time where it is now, but its origin is classified. AI is limited in transmitting data from the internet due to the risk of hacking. The input of information is done through the senses of the wearer. Taste of food, tactile sensations, everything is recorded by the system. Data output is only possible through the hero's body. Temporary control is only allowed in battle. The line between freedom and control is blurred. The AI cannot attack directly, only adjust the aim. All information is collected through physical contact. The hero becomes the eyes and hands of the system. Their cooperation is a symbiosis of forced necessity. First assignment received. The goal is to solve the mystery of their journey into the past. The journey begins small. The guy is talking to the AI about their next move. The AI needs money to gather information, but his wallet is empty. The solution is street singing using vocal cords. The goal is 10,001. The ambition is high and the methods are unconventional. Success depends on the accuracy of the algorithm and the courage of the performer. Artificial intelligence offers temporary vocal control. The boy hesitates but agrees. The first performance will be a test of the symbiosis between man and machine. Temporal control activated. The AI demonstrates preparation down to the last detail, even a spoon is used as a tool. The guy's surprised at how well thought out the system is. Every gesture is calculated, every move part of a plan. Trust in the technology is growing. Operation Start Earnings. The risk is justified by necessity. It remains to translate the theory into reality. The AI explains the combat function of boosting soldiers' morale through sound waves. The technology is useful, but the context is odd. The man doesn't understand why he should sing here in a crowded place at someone else's concert. The algorithm insists the public's attention will attract sponsors. Doubts remain, but there are no alternatives. The choice is simple: become an artist or give up. AI offers an eccentric approach. Guy fears overplaying his hand. Don't turn me into a clown. The system guarantees success. The show starts, the audience watches a person without a microphone but with perfect sound. The first notes are mesmerizing. Doubts dissolve into applause. The plan is working. Audience engagement is a key parameter. AI analyzes the reaction, adjusting the tone in real time. The guy moves towards the crowd, changing the timbre of his voice. High notes shock the audience, attracting the attention of men and especially women. A balance between show and technology. Every song is a step towards the goal. The crowd is enthralled, a man singing without equipment, switching octaves. People at the concert are hearing this rumor. Almost all the people had already fled the concert, leaving the speakers alone in shock. They clearly couldn't stand the competition. The AI manipulates the ligaments to create the perfect singing. The audience can't believe their ears, but they keep listening. Fundraising is going well. Lack of equipment is compensated for by innovation. He sings the song in a woman's voice. The singing is interrupted in the middle. The song is assembled from street fragments. They notice some inconsistencies in the young man's talent. Despite this, money, both paper and iron money, flies into the box of the militant street singer. The minimum amount has been accumulated, it's time to go. A full box of money will help our hero to achieve his goals. The public asks for a sequel, but the risk of exposure is high. The AI advises retreating before suspicion is aroused. Operation complete. The money is in his pocket, the secret is safe. The audience won't let the artist go. One more minute. They shout from the crowd, but the boy disappears into the alley. The girl with blonde hair had been watching the singer and admiring his talent all the time, and now that he was gone, she only had to stare after him. She is distracted from the window by a supervisor's voice asking her to bring her 15 ramen to the table. It turns out that she works in a catering business. She talks about how she actually really wanted to listen to this guy's song longer. Her figure and beauty don't quite match her work. Such a beauty works right here, and before that she was washing the floor in general. Guy ponders his next move. The AI suggests infiltrating the computer club to gather data on the Earth Federation. The goal is to infiltrate the local environment unnoticed. A vacancy in a PC room solves the problems with housing, food, and information. The man doubts success, but there are no alternatives. Contact with the command center will be the next step. AI finds a catered job opening for employees. Employment in a computer club will solve several problems at once. The guy's planning a temporary stay. If he can get a job, he will not have to worry about shelter and food. A man climbs up the ladder to get a job. Their dialogue with the AI about the vacancy continues. Clothing and documents remain a problem. The system suggests using military uniforms with camouflage function. The AI activates the chameleon mode of the special suit. The fabric changes structure, transforming into civilian clothing. The uniform is taken apart and reassembled. The guy tries on the new look, trying not to attract attention. The changes add naturalness to the image. If the disguise succeeds, you can go to the interview. The guy gets excited and asks the AI to activate the feature faster so he can try the disguise on himself. The new outfit is reminiscent of street musicians. The man is nervous, but the AI assures him that the style is appropriate for the city. The AI is silent, analyzing the situation. The guy is perplexed. Why such extravagant outfits for the PC room? The system explains, the appearance must match the local youth culture. It's just as they're climbing the ladder. The guys turn their attention to a freak in a suit. The first impression is that the idea for successful implementation through clothing has clearly failed. Visitors to the club freeze when they see the strange newcomer. Guys' clothes stand out even among the gamers. They walk past, trying to get away from here as fast as possible. The guys keep their heads down. Even at the end of their journey down the stairs, they didn't turn back, afraid to look at the psychopath in a strange suit. The guy reassembles the costume following the AI's instructions. The cap and hoodie make the look less flashy. The system praises the choice. The style now matches the undercover agent. The only thing left to do is convince the employer. Doubts dissolve. The disguise is perfect. It's time to show your skills and get a seat. AI scans PC room, checks payment systems, locations, user activity. The data coincides with the forecast. The man studies the audience of this club. 96% of all visitors to the club are gamers and come here to play. AI confirms location is optimal for contact with the center. The first objective is close to being achieved. The system analyzes food options. The best choice is the club's food shelf. The food is not exactly healthy, but it will do. The employer asks a question. Are you here to apply for a job? The man nods. Game on. A guy gets an assignment to fill out a resume on the spot. The employer demands documents, but gives a temporary authorization. The AI corrects the data, masking a military background. A man pretends to be a replacement for an absent employee. The system analyzes the risks, but there's no alternative employment. All that's left is to convince his superiors that he's trustworthy. The interview is almost complete. The conditions are Spartan, but the goal has been achieved. Access to information is open. Employer doubts guy's skills. Can you cook? AI activates tactical cooking mode for soldiers. The AI says it will be able to pan with its skills. The movements will be precise. The algorithm can control his hands. The chef is amazed at the speed. Questions of professionalism are replaced by approval. He asks him to pass and fry rice. The test is passed. Ingredients are scanned with military precision. The aroma attracts visitors. Everything here is made for cooking. The AI requests temporary control to cook rice. Guy agrees, watching the automatic hand movements. Artificial intelligence guides the guy's body to the cooking tools. Apparently, it can control more than just his hands. The body moves on autopilot. The guy feels light, as if cooking skills had always been a part of him. The AI optimizes every gesture. Even frying becomes a tactical operation. The boundary between human and program is blurred. The experience is a success. Even the boss is a little shocked at this kid's abilities in the kitchen. Colleagues are shocked. A man cooks from scratch, bypassing convenience foods. The speed and quality are off the charts. AI demonstrates mastery by turning simple products into masterpieces. Questions about guy's past resurface again. Employer approves. The kitchen becomes a new front for the mission and future work in the institution. Hand speed is admired, but taste is the main criterion. AI balances efficiency and aesthetics. The guy tastes the dish. The algorithm corrects the recipe in real time. There are no mistakes. Everything is calculated. Visitors are delighted. The PC room turns into an unexpected gastronomic restaurant. A man faces an unexpected challenge, serving drinks. The AI did not take this aspect into account, but adapts quickly. For a second, the boss thought he was in his favorite bar. He felt so good. Crisis overcome. The girl asks her uncle, what is he carrying? The boss is ready to introduce her. The guy runs into Cha Eun-soo, the owner's niece. The girl recognizes him as a street singer, which causes awkwardness. A man tries to hide his past, but the AI suggests he use it to establish trust. A working relationship begins with an unexpected confession. The dialogue turns to a discussion of his voice and work here. The guy talks about how he's good at a lot of things. The boss is already engaging our guy by talking about how his niece can't cook. Everything burns all the time. Shift negotiations are getting more complex. AI analyzes employer preferences, tailoring responses to expectations. The man insists on a free schedule. The system masks the true motives by presenting them as personal preferences. The employer agrees. It is now possible to combine data collection with kitchen duties. He asks to be given temporary accommodation in the vacant room next door. The employer doubts this. But the boss anticipates the growing popularity of his food and the establishment. He can't just pass up a chance like this. The AI's culinary skills turn the PC room into a point of attraction. The boss lets him live in the room, eat food here for free, and get double his weekly paycheck. The visitors decide to eat right in the hall. The aroma of food outweighs the desire to start the game immediately. A man watches gamers combine entertainment with lunch. AI captures data. Food preferences are a new source of information. The kitchen becomes the unwitting center of operations. Every customer is a potential clue. He points his spatula at the two men and talks about how they now have to eat right here and now before they can decide whether the cooking here is bad or good. The kid continues to work, thus delighting his boss and his niece. He asks the girl for more plates. She runs to him with trays and saucers to get the culinary masterpieces faster. All the staff at the place are shocked. The dishes are not only very fast, but always of perfect quality. Cha Eun-so is delivering the order to the customers. She hurries faster and faster, picking up the delicious food every minute. Visitors are skeptical of PC room food, considering it a desperate move. It is unlikely to be tasty, so they think. The girl serves the fried rice with confidence. The speed and presentation of the dish is astonishing. The first doubts of the guests are dispelled. Gamers, before they even start playing, get food. Unexpected service becomes the highlight of the establishment. The customers are confused. The order looks too fancy for simple fried rice. The guy confirms that everything is a la carte. The AI optimizes the serving, turning a basic dish into a culinary masterpiece. They stare in shock at the waitress, who is proud of her new chef. The aroma and the sight of food makes guests stop talking and start eating. The first step to popularity is accomplished. The superb flavor of the mediocre dish with the unremarkable serving pressed them into their chairs. The fried rice simply knocked them dead with its deliciousness. They envision themselves as fat runners who are running for only one thing, that wonderful rice. The dish acts as a lure to them, and they will do anything to taste it again. They order more and more rice, marveling at the same wonderful flavor. The chef is a god for being able to do this. Customers demand more, 2 more servings. The flavor of the rice exceeds expectations, turning skeptics into fans. The PC room becomes a place of gastronomic pilgrimage. Rumors of a magical chef spread around the office. A lot of people want to try it. And now the first people are already asking for new portions of the fried rice, so interesting to them, which has won the hearts of these 2 people. 12 orders come in at the same time. The man is ready to get to work without blinking an eye. Everyone else in the kitchen is surprised. The supervisor turns to the kid and asks, "Can he do it?" The customers are thrilled. The employer is shocked. The guy remains unperturbed. The Don asks the AI if it will make this order. The AI agrees, saying that this is an ordinary task for it. It sees nothing difficult in it. He brings in the cooking tool. An order for 15 more dishes has come in, and he's getting ready for a full work shift here. 3 hours later, money is clouding the boss's head. He asks for the name of his savior. In 3 hours, food sales are breaking records. The boss says that he can earn a stable, high salary with this kind of work. The man involuntarily gives his name Kong In. The AI catches the slip, but backs up. It's a temporary alias. An employer offers to clean a storage room specifically for him. In his first day on the job, he has already shown his importance in the operation of the establishment. Kong In's name is taking hold. It will be the key to new opportunities and risks until the hero learns his real name. The employer is delighted with the profits. Kong In gets the promise of purchasing ingredients and a separate storage room. AI reminds us of the need for documentation. Hacking the database is the next step. It needs to get an ID card. He needs it to get his paycheck. Without it, the money will be in an account somewhere, but he can't dispose of it. AI offers to hack the system. Skills from 2082 can bypass the defenses, but it will attract attention. The boy agrees. The boundary between the legal and the forbidden is blurred. The end justifies the means. A man discusses the possibility of ID forgery with the AI. The system confirms skills in hacking local databases to create a fake ID. Guy authorizes temporary motor control. AI infiltrates government system by finding eye matches. A record of Na Kangin is discovered. The name becomes a legal mask. The mystery of identity begins to unravel. His prints also match the information in the database. How'd he get his name? A guy is confused. How do his fingerprints exist in 2024? The system provides no answers, deepening the time paradox. He decides to search the internet for this information. Na Kangin can't believe his eyes and has to find an explanation for all of this. The hero tries to understand how the Earth Federation from 2082 is connected to the reality of 2024. AI checks the data. There is no analog of the organization. Man assumes simultaneous existence in two eras. The algorithm is silent, fixing contradictions in the chronology. The search continues. Each discovery gives rise to new mysteries, but the key answers are still out of reach. The AI analyzes Na Kangin's personal data. The records show no activity in the past 5 years, which increases suspicion. The guy is looking for clues to the past. Perhaps his current state is the result of experimentation or an accident. The system offers to deepen the search. Each step brings you closer to a clue, but risks attracting attention. All the information suggests a complete lull in the guy's past activities. He's even listed as unemployed in the system. Yunso notices the speed of typing. Guy hides the AI's involvement, explaining the skills with experience. The girl wonders if he can program, but he avoids details. Yunso's curiosity and peeking at other people's monitors are considered unseemly. Yunso invites Guy to go shopping with him. The AI suggests choosing ingredients with maximum efficiency, saving time. The case moves to the store. The girl is surprised by his physical strength and quickness. The hero guffaws, hiding the effects of implanted technology. She marvels at the ease with which the kid drags the extra heavy bags down the street without getting tired at all. Yunso admires his strength. The boy is modest, saying that his hands are not made of steel. She laughs off his straightforwardness. It's not like she had any direct iron-handed sense. The girl offers to go to a cafe at the expense of the employer. The hero agrees, seeing it as a chance for informal communication. The cat and mouse game continues. Yunso's trust can be both an advantage and a risk. She bumps into some men in the doorway, flies off of them right into the arms of a guy. The two freaks glare at them, saying that they should have walked more carefully so as not to snag such important people. Guy prepares to help the girl by utilizing and testing the combat capabilities of his AI. A threatening caption pops up on the screen. Guy keeps his cool as he assesses the level of risk. The AI analyzes the source of the threat. The robot asks our protagonist if it's worth going into armed mode, to which he remains silent. The girl apologizes to them in tears. It's a bit of a surprise, everyone was expecting an epic battle. She keeps apologizing, but one guy calms the bull by talking about how he really scared the girl. The man apologizes, saying that his brother has been losing at the casino all day and is now therefore very irritable. The hero walks away, leaving the incident behind. The AI confirms that there is no threat and you can continue on your way. They take the elevator upstairs and chat about whether or not the girl is straight and what it was that happened to her. The supervisor runs up to them and yells about his niece not picking up the phone in emergencies. The girl asks what's wrong. Yunso is in a panic. The internet in the PC room is down, the customers are rioting. The guy contacts the masters, but they won't be back for another hour. The guy assumes that after they used the club's server for tests, the hackers spotted them. The AI confirms there is no trace of surveillance, but someone else's hacking is detected. The system decides to check for a program conflict. A man heads to the server room pretending to be a technician. The employer points to a server at the counter. The hero proceeds to diagnose, hiding his true motives. AI identifies identity-stealing malware. A conflict with the club's defenses caused an internet outage. He finds a hacking program right on the computer, ineptly hidden of course. The guy decides to track down the hacker. The system starts searching, clinging to the nearest server. Time is limited, customers are outraged. Trace reveals the hacker used a nearby PC room to install the program. He also used 7 different servers to make it impossible to track. The AI is analyzing the access logs. The person who did this was obviously here recently and installed this program manually. The hero decides to conduct a reconnaissance. The guy suspects a group spotted earlier with whom they had a conflict. Angry gamer demands compensation for disrupting a match. The guy offers free snacks following the AI's recommendations. He looks at the guy and analyzes exactly what kind of snack to give him so he'll finally calm down. A man offers many options to choose from. The AI makes a list of budget snacks, approving the choice of number 3. The guy puts on his gloves and gets up at the stove to save the reputation of the place. The girl apologizes to visitors, announcing the restoration of the network as soon as possible. This is unlikely to help people calm down. The hero returns to them with food. With it, he brings an apology as a free meal. He holds out a cup of goodies and talks about fixing the servers, which means we'll have internet soon. A disgruntled customer demands compensation for a loss. A guy offers a dish to sample, and he grudgingly grabs it. The AI predicts that the taste of food will soothe anger. The hero watches as skepticism turns to surprise. The client calms down, leaving the negativity behind. His face contorted with a grimace, but no longer angry. A guy watches customers rave about the appetizers. A disgruntled gamer demands more, suspecting magic in the recipe. The AI algorithm confirms the ingredients are ordinary but mixed with precision. The man guffaws, attributing the success to improvisation. His culinary skills calm the crowd, turning chaos into delight. Another crisis is overcome through tactical ingenuity. The girl decides to try this dish too, and as soon as the powder hits her tongue, she explodes with happiness. The girl is delighted by the unusual taste of the appetizers. The guy modestly explains, "I just mixed what I had." The AI highlights the perfect proportions of spices hidden behind seemingly randomness. A man leaves the kitchen, entrusting the distribution of food to his colleagues. His goal is to find the source of the hacker attack while the algorithm stabilizes the situation. Customer trust is now his shield. A girl calls him a hero in the modern world. The hero doesn't react, but the AI records the compliment as a possible lever for future actions. The action shifts to the green street of a crowded city where the noise and din of people lives next door to the tranquil nature. The AI activates navigation to the location of the hacker attack. The route passes through blind spots, no cameras or sensors. The guy moves stealthily using camouflage skills. The man is analyzing his surroundings. The lack of surveillance indicates the adversary's professionalism. The algorithm scans the airwaves for signs of radio interference. Target is close. All that remains is to find a loophole in the hacker's defenses. The silence is deceptive. Every step can be fatal. He enters the building and climbs up higher up the stairs. This decision seems like the right one for him to accomplish the mission. The AI amplifies the sound, picking up threats from the abandoned building. The student's voice shakes with fear. He is being blackmailed for a flaw in the program. The boy quickens his step. The man activates his ear even more, taking the criminals by surprise. The algorithm instantly assesses the threats. One is armed, the other is the victim. We need to proceed without error. The scene is reminiscent of combat missions from the future. The AI offers a rescue plan, but the hero relies on his instincts. Time is running out. AI confirms the student is being forced into illegal work. He may be the hacker. Inside the room is chaos. A bunch of computers and servers and 3 men standing over the kid's soul, blackmailing him. The guy pulls the door off its hinges with one easy leg movement to take them by surprise and gain access inside. Everyone in the room checked out this move. The action really made epic feelings about his actions. Kongin stands in the middle of the aisle and lowers his head, waiting for the next move from the people that took the student hostage. The guys look around the server room, discovering signs of a break-in. Now they're fighting about someone not locking the door. The scariest of them all, with a scar halfway down his bald head, looks at the hero and says something about how it looks like the uninvited guests want to be escorted out. But it's too late to rant. He's already punching one of these bad people in the beard. Finally, the kid uses IS combat mode and smashes his opponent's nose in one punch. He watches the bloody thug lying in the middle of the hallway, a filibuster move and a new human carpet on the floor. The guy is still standing in his military assassin pose. At least someone moves and he'll kill all of them that one. On Sungwon, a fellow student, is an aspiring white hacker. His skills attract the attention of professionals, but financial difficulties force him to look for a part-time job. A man receives a tempting offer, a security check on a company for 2 million won. His enthusiasm is replaced by anxiety. It turns out that his work is connected with a criminal group. Now his life is in danger, and the way out of the situation is not obvious. The AI analyzes the letter from Donazoa. The task looks simple, but the payment is disproportionately high. The guy decides to take the risk despite his doubts. A man enters a building expecting a standard check. Instead, he is met by armed men. It's a trap. The chances of escape are minimal. The hero realizes that he has become a pawn in someone else's game. Trusting in unfamiliar sentences turned out to be a fatal mistake. At the critical moment, a mysterious savior appears. His movements are precise, as if controlled by an algorithm. The boy notices the unnatural strength and speed. It detects anomalies in a stranger's behavior. Each blow is calculated to the millimeter. Technology is clearly superior. After the blow, there is complete silence in the room. All sides of the conflict are confused. The guy neutralizes the man with one punch. His own strength is frightening. It's as if his body is acting autonomously. A man decides to intervene in the fight, relying on his instincts. The AI warns the opponent is armed, but the chances of victory are also high. The questions are mounting. Who is he? Where did these powers come from? The guy in the hood surprises the hardened gangsters. The AI explains the hero's physical parameters are enhanced by implants. Speed, strength, reaction, everything is beyond human. He has nothing to fear. A man jokes that these bandits are nothing more than octopuses. His words enrage his opponents. The fight erupts into chaos. The faces of the rivals twist in anger and desire to tear the clever kid apart. The AI registers the escalation of the conflict. The guy switches to psychological pressure, using sarcasm as a weapon. Attacks on the enemy's appearance throw them off balance. The tactic works. Enemies lose concentration and pounce on him with a knife. The hero realizes his skills are not limited to combat. Manipulation has become part of the arsenal. But even physical superiority has to be taken away, and he stamps that freak's head into the ceiling with one foot. The fight reaches its peak. The man's blows leave dents in the metal. AI detects abnormal bone and muscle strength. The opponents flee in panic, leaving the ringleader at the mercy of the victor. The boy remains standing, not feeling tired. Scarface decides to attack back at the little kid, who is unlikely to fight back. The hero tests his capabilities. A kicking blow blows his back. The AI confirms the strength exceeds the norm by 5 times. The man notices the mechanistic nature of the movements. The algorithm explains the body adapts, blurring the line between man and machine. He scattered everyone around him and now thinks his legs are strong and developed enough now. The AI reveals the details of the modifications. Not only the senses have been enhanced, but also the limbs. The boy is shocked. His body is no longer fully human. Student watching the fight theorizes, police? Government agent? The hero avoids answers by hiding the truth. The rescued hacker wants to thank the man but decides against making any unnecessary moves at the moment. The guy listens to the student's excuses, hacking for pranks, not malice. The AI analyzes the speech, determining a 90% probability of truthfulness. The man notes, the guy was acting under orders, not realizing the consequences. The student insists on his innocence. The algorithm confirms the absence of a criminal record, only naivety and financial difficulties. The hero decides to give a chance, seeing the potential for cooperation. The AI demonstrates skill in analyzing facial expressions and gestures. A man checks the truthfulness of the captive's words by increasing the pressure with questions. The accuracy of the algorithm reaches 90%, but doubts remain. The student trembles, repeating, he was tricked, lured into a trap. The guy compares the data with the evidence. It's a match. The decision is made. We need to dig deeper. The hero hides his emotions, remaining neutral. The AI advises caution. There is a large network behind the simple performers. Details of a scam, stock manipulation through forums have been revealed. A student created a program for generating fake reviews, which was installed in PC rooms. The guy is surprised by the primitive nature of the scheme. The AI finds inconsistencies. The villains are clearly acting under orders. The goal is to get to the organizers, not the handlers. The AI offers to turn the thugs into the police, maintaining anonymity. The guy instructs the student, say you've been kidnapped. The student is afraid of the consequences, but the hero assures his face is hidden by a mask. His identity will remain a secret. The algorithm erases digital traces, reinforcing the legend. The plan is simple. The police will take care of the lowlifes and the man will continue to hunt the bosses. The chain is just beginning. The guy prepares to leave. leaving the student alone with defeated thugs all over the room, bodies strewn about. The one asks permission to fight back and gets approval for his actions to hit as fast and hard as possible. The AI guarantees the enemies won't wake up before the police arrive. The hero disappears into the shadows as he appeared without a name or explanation. The student is left confused. His life is saved, but the questions for the mysterious savior only multiply. Emotions take over, the student hits the defeated villain, releasing the accumulated fear. The AI records the action but does not intervene. Revenge is not a priority. The guy watches from afar, making sure his ward is safe. The algorithm reminds, mission accomplished, time to move on. The incident is closed, but new targets lie ahead. The AI database is already processing fresh leads. The action moves on to the next chapter. A police officer discovers a beaten man linked to stock manipulation. The victim claims she was forced to create a program for forums under threat of death. The boy tells the story of 3 days of captivity. Suspicion falls on the organizers of the scheme, but they are already lying on the floor. A student denies involvement in the crimes. His savior disappears, leaving more questions than answers. The police are discussing the incident. The version of a random passerby seems doubtful. The camera footage needs to be analyzed. Investigators assume that a large group is behind the attack. The wounded bandits may give information under pressure. The solution is to find the mysterious savior via CCTV. His actions are too precise for an ordinary citizen. The hero avoids the cameras, following the AI's cues. His reflexes amaze even himself, as if his body is acting on autopilot. The man notices the gaps in his memory: no phone, no ID. The AI is silent, leaving him to speculate. Buying a smartphone in installments is the only way out. Financial hardship is a reminder of the need to continue the mission. 3 days later, he is on his way to the other side of town in Millet to visit a place that seems significant to him. A boy visits an address from the past, but finds only ashes. Rumors of a fire destroy his hopes of recovering his memory. Questions about the connection to the future remain. Was he sent back in time? Or was it the aftermath of an experiment? Coming back with nothing reinforces the feeling of being lost. We can only hope for more leads. PC Room turns into a popular place thanks to a secret chef. The food is served only in the presence of a man. It becomes a specialty. The tactic of limited sales of a specialty dish draws crowds. Customers linger for a long time, combining food with games. The owner hires new employees. The success of the cafe is unexpected but pleasant even for the skeptics. He invites our protagonist in order for him to get acquainted with his colleague, and he seems very familiar to him. An Sungwon joins the team. His IT skills promise to solve the institution's technical problems. The guy recognizes him as the rescued student. Their interaction begins with an awkward encounter, but the potential for cooperation is obvious. The employer is happy to have 2 reliable employees. The new phase of the mission, covert data collection, has already begun. An Sungwon explains his choice: guilt over breaking into the cafe. He wants to make amends even though he acted under duress. The man remains an enigma. His culinary talent and technical skills are admired by his colleagues. The team begins to work together. The secrets of the past and the goals of the future become intertwined. The guy hides his involvement in the rescue of An Sung-hwan. The man, not recognizing the hero, addresses him as a senior colleague. The AI recommends eliminating the potential threat, but the man ignores the advice. The working relationship begins with formalities. An Sung-hwan calls him Hyung, unaware of his past. The character maintains a mask of indifference, avoiding unnecessary questions. The AI detects the risk of exposure. The algorithm suggests drastic measures, but Guy prefers to observe. A colleague's trust could be the key to new data. Na Kong-in tells the young lad that he'll be happy to keep working, but only if he does quality work. The robot scrupulously checks the shopping list: sauces, spices, ingredients. The AI analyzes expenses, checking them against the budget. The guy notices the strange pedantry. The AI guffaws, citing the importance of food quality. The algorithm silently adjusts the spending plan, avoiding suspicion. The dialogue turns to an argument about the meaning of life. The AI fakes a breakdown to change the subject. The guy is puzzled by its actions. They will continue to walk down the street and mentally converse, discussing sauces and the need to pre-taste test any dish and ingredient. AI detects a fire in the street. A man reacts instantly using tactical analysis skills. Na Kangin looks around but doesn't notice any pockets of fire. Apparently the AI has failed again. Guy suspects the AI of deliberate distraction. Testing shows the threat is real. The fire can't be seen, but it can be felt, thanks to the implanted modules. Suddenly from above him there is a huge explosion right in the side of the house. Shards of the building fly down the street. Flames engulf the warehouse. People rush out of the building and run away from it, but not everyone can afford to do so. Another explosion blows through the wall, creating more and more danger for the people around and inside the building. The AI activates combat mode, vision switches to infrared spectrum, muscles get amplification. The hero is ready for emergency measures. The AI demonstrates a full arsenal, AR lenses, audio modules, reinforced limbs. Everything the AI offers is on its side. The man gets his leg muscles strengthened, speeding him up and increasing his chances of saving people and eliminating the hearth of the fire. Na Kangin is frozen in amazement. He realizes that with all these new abilities, he can eliminate the flames in a single blow. He speeds off, keeping his hands locked. His plan has matured quickly and now he's ready to put it into action. The man reaches out his hand and shouts, "Light the flame destroyer, start it." He is confident that this will help him. But nothing happens. Even the kid passing nearby is shocked by this crazy retard. Even EE asks the protagonist, is everything okay with his head? Why did he think his hands could make different beams? The AI rejects the idea of using a freezing ray. The technology is too lacking to use. Guy ponders other methods. The easiest method to get the fire out is to call in the fire department's expert firefighters on their truck. A man notices people on the roof. Their screams heighten the urgency. The algorithm suggests evacuation through a neighboring building, but the path is blocked by fire. The AI calculates the fire department's arrival time to be 4 minutes. In that time, the fire will destroy everything. The man refuses to wait because there's a 99% chance everyone will die. He chooses to take a risk, but he chooses to act. He, together with artificial intelligence, calculates all possible paths and finally finds the right one in a matter of seconds. The guy decides to sneak through windows and eaves, avoiding toxic smoke. The AI corrects the route in real time, warning about weak overlaps. He climbs quickly, spending a minimal amount of time doing so. His jumps are honed. People on the ground are yelling that he's crazy and what he's even doing. Some in the crowd think he's trying to save them. The man almost reaches the roof where the group is waiting for help. The AI scans the room. There are no survivors. The bulk of the group has been evacuated. He takes the AI's information and climbs up further, quickly grabbing onto the ledges. People at the bottom compare him to a superhero, Spider-Man, or generally a climber who can climb anything. The AI warns of the possibility of an explosion nearby. The guy clings to the ledge, trying to save everyone. His grip strength exceeds human norms. In the end, everything explodes not where the AI indicates, but right in the window near our protagonist. The shock wave makes him fly away for some distance. The man jokes a thank you, masking the tension. The algorithm fixes micro-injuries, but functionality is preserved. Climbing a wall requires precision. AR lenses illuminate the points of support, turning a vertical surface into a path to escape. He finally arrives on the roof, seeing a lone, frightened girl. The man watches her, analyzing the damage. She notices a man nearby. Finally, someone has come to save her. She won't just die in a fire. He heroically holds out his hand for her to grasp, and they walk down that roof together. The rescued woman tries to thank him, but cannot. Her face expresses anguish and now gratitude for the rescue. Mission accomplished, but new casualties await. The fire is spreading faster than expected, even less time. He asks aloud, "Are we going to die here?" The girl is almost peeing in her pants from the fear that her savior doesn't know what to do. Na Kangin tells her to be quiet. He's not asking her. He and the AI analyze the possibilities of jumping from here to the next building with her and not getting hurt. AI warns using superpowers in full view of humans will reveal secrets. The boy hesitates, but the child's life is more important than secrecy. He notices clothes and a towel on the clothes dryer, and new ideas pop into his head. He asks the girl if he can use it to go downstairs. The girl yells that she won't give up her stuff. A man assesses his way through a burning building. The lower floors are engulfed in flames, making it impossible to descend. AI scans the environment, suggesting a risky plan using a clothesline. The guy proposes to create an improvised rope from between buildings. The rescued girl's fear of heights is mixed with disbelief. The idea seems crazy. The algorithm confirms the calculations. The structure will support the weight if it moves quickly. The hero takes the initiative, ignoring the doubts of those around him. The first steps on the rope should prove the stability of the system. The AI will adjust the balance in real time, minimizing the risk of falling. The AI refuses to control the rope throw, citing the limitations of combat algorithms. The man takes control, relying on his instincts. The guy jokes about the paradox. The system knows how to cook, but not how to throw projectiles. Tension drops for a second, but the task requires concentration. He starts playing with the rope like a lasso to get it as far away as possible. The rescued are frozen in horror as they watch the hero's actions. Their fate now depends on his skills and coolness. He throws that rope, and those seconds of rope throwing seem like an eternity to him. Their lives depend on that throw. A precise throw fixes the rope on the opposite roof. The AI instantly analyzes the strength of the knots, giving the green light to move. Panic builds. The woman says she's losing her balance on the rope. The AI activates posture stabilization, but her screams interfere with concentration. The man orders her to freeze, using a commanding tone. Nakan takes her in his arms and continues his movement. The guy moves along the rope, backing himself and the girl up. The witnesses below are making makeshift mats, preparing for the worst. Another spurt and the group reaches the halfway point. The fire below is a reminder that time is running out. The girl is kicking and screaming, making it difficult to move. He asks her to sit still and not move. He says to go slow, but the girl yells even more, making him move really fast. The rope starts to break under the weight of people. The AI counts the time, 20 seconds to the cliff. The man speeds up, pushing the rescued men forward. But the AI is saying that the fire will cause the rope to break very soon, about now. A final tug and they almost reach the edge of the roof. The rope breaks a meter from the target, falling into the flames. The protagonist sacrifices himself by pushing the girl to the roof and himself falling into a fiery chasm between buildings. The rescued woman is shocked but alive, unlike the hero who is about to have a rough time. Nakan falls down, not even knowing if he can survive in a time unknown to him, not even knowing who he is, falling into a fiery abyss. He closes his eyes, but still screams with anger and injustice of fate, even though he realizes he chose this path himself. Nakan falls down and screams that the AI should already start calculating next steps to save their ass. He looks at the ledge from which the rope is hanging broken off and thinks, what should he do now? The guy does the first thing he does is grab that rope with his iron grip. This allows him to stop and jump so that he can move further up the wall of the building. He jumps off the panel and runs through the windows and glass, leaving behind footprints on the wall of the house. Rumors of a flying lifeguard spread through the crowd. They see him running up the walls and can't believe their eyes and his awesomeness. He manages to pull off this feint and jump back onto the roof where the rescued girl is lying. He lands in a superhero pose because what but made him worthy of such a title. The kid is trying to catch his breath. This action was certainly cool but very energy wasted and stressful. The rescued woman rubs her bruised head. The guy climbs up the ladder and greets her as if nothing had happened. She screams in shock and says she sees a ghost. Nakan talks about how he seems to still be alive. The girl asks how he survived. Is he Superman? The kid says he probably is. She asks, why is he talking to her so casually? Does he know her? Or is he a fan of hers and is he following her? The AI shows up again and the guy makes a claim about the reliability of the Palin. The robot says they just use poor quality ropes on the roofs. But they get shouted down by this girl and are fit for some serious conversation. A girl notices strange behavior in the boyfriend. She asks if he's the guy, the chef from the cafe. Her questions become more and more persistent, threatening to expose him. He is surprised not to understand how she recognized him so quickly and even managed to recognize him in the mask. Firefighters finally arrive, ready to refill the last wreckage of the badly burned building. Someone watches a video of a guy heroically dragging a girl up a rope to another roof and marvels. It turns out to be two detectives we know who are thinking about who this guy might be. Police examine a plastic bag found at the scene of the fire. The partner of the man in brown is not very surprised. He talks about it takes 4 limbs to save a man and it takes 2 hands to lift a bag. He's on to something. He suspects the rope foreman of being the one who left that bag of groceries at the crime scene. Police are examining a sauce packet found at the scene of the fire. It also contains a recipe, but his handwriting is difficult to make out. The check points to a store that may be a clue in their difficult and confusing case. Suddenly the phone vibrates and the detective picks it up to check. Who's calling him at this hour? Investigators are debating the motives for the arson. A version of competitive rivalry seems likely, but there is insufficient evidence. A guy is discussing with a telephone interlocutor the consequences of the fire. A dead man is found on the third floor. Previously, it was thought that everyone had been evacuated. They were all so upset. They thought it would be casualty-free, but it wasn't. You guys are cops. A man decides to find the master of the ropes to reveal the identity of the savior. The trail leads to an anonymous hero whose actions have attracted media attention. The action moves to some white building with hot springs. The main character along with that girl come out of the bathroom and are happy to finally be able to completely relax. A girl rescued from a fire demands compensation for her lost home. She is all alone, not even her parents. Student Yoon Aram asks a guy for help. Her house is burned down and she has no job. The man hides his sympathy but agrees to take her to a cafe. He analyzes her background: loans, loneliness, streaming career. Hiring her doesn't seem like such a bad idea. Na Kangin insists on getting a job. The guy leads her to the owner, hiding his involvement in her rescue. She asks him for help but doesn't quite want to settle down and work a regular job. The girl says he must have seen her at the cafe, but the guy says he didn't. She's a little offended. Yoon Aram reveals that she streams from a cafe. Her popularity grows, attracting new customers. He asks her how many subscribers she has and if she can play at all. She replies that she plays poorly and only has 30 subscribers. Then he suggests she go back to the cafe after all and fill out a resume for a job. They return late and the girl immediately introduces herself as the new employee of their establishment. A guy returns to the cafe without shopping. His niece notices his absence and connects it to the fire. The man explains the failure with an interest in fire. The girl laughs, but there is a flicker of disbelief in her eyes. The neural network is analyzing a possible rescue video. The hero's face is probably blurred, but his movements reveal inhuman agility. An AI detects a video of a fire on the web. A couple of frames could already expose its identity and cause problems. The clips rack up views, threatening to reveal the hero's abilities. But not a single dislike is cool. The guy offers to delete the files, but the AI refuses. I'm not a hacker. Nakan reminds him of past hacks, but he insists the mission is clean. The AI explains that it then had a military objective of threatening to hack into the system, and that's why it was able to. The guy sarcastically says it's really cool. At this time, there's some guy standing in front of their comp club. It turns out to be a detective and he compares addresses. This is exactly where the master tightrope walker is hiding. The action transitions back to the room the protagonist is now living in. A man examines data on the Earth Alliance and Special Forces of 2082. Guy speculates that other natives of the future may be in hiding. Artificial intelligence confirms several such cases. The hero ponders the connection between the technology of 2024 and his implant. The system reminds him the existence of AI in his body is inexplicable for the current era. The man continues to search for information, but so far to no avail. AI advises caution to avoid attracting attention. A guy wakes up in 2024, having lost 50 years of memory. Artificial intelligence explains, the technology of this time is not capable of creating his implant. A man discusses with the AI a fire in XX Dong. The system analyzes the news, one dead. The investigation continues. The hero decides to investigate the incident. Guy notes inconsistencies in the fire reports. The AI suggests collecting additional data to verify the murder version. The man discovers that the deceased was in the room they were examining. Artificial intelligence did not record any signs of life before the fire. The hero reproaches himself for not paying attention. The system reminds, AR lenses do not have infrared vision. The guy decides to reanalyze. The AI confirms there are no noises or movements in the area of the incident. The man begins to suspect a carefully planned crime. The guy is making a case for premeditated murder under the guise of a fire. Artificial intelligence estimates the probability as extremely high. Someone knocks on the door insistently and the kid realizes it must be the cops. A man discusses with police a charge card found at a location. The system links the purchase to a specific location. The hero asks a direct question. The policeman confirms that the package belongs to this place because this is where all the groceries were bought. The madam is talking to a cop, but when she sees the protagonist coming out, she turns around and says that everything has already been returned here. A girl returns a condiment lost in a fire to a man. A guy is surprised by the efficiency of police work. AI analyzes the motives for helping. Nakan thanks the policeman for finding them so quickly and promptly for a small thing like groceries. A guy receives a business card from a detective with an offer of cooperation. Artificial intelligence advises to establish a contact to access the data. The man agrees to the meeting despite the risks. The system emphasizes that getting to know the police will simplify future operations. The girl insists on working together. The hero agrees, but not with her, but with the AI. The woman is very happy because now she will be able to be closer to the main character. But the guy refuses to cooperate today, citing business. Artificial intelligence captures the frustration of the interlocutor. But she still looks at him in love and talks about how he's such a complex and interesting person. Next, the hero moves further towards his goal. For today, his stop is the police station. A young man visits a detective who came to see him earlier. The boy denies linking his visit to the return of the lost item. A man makes a direct statement of suspicion of murder. The system records the interlocutor's reaction, a mixture of surprise and fear. A pause hangs between them. This statement shocks the entire police station. A guy raises suspicions about a murder masquerading as a fire. He thinks it's got a very high chance of happening. The detective demands proof, accusing the hero of hindering the investigation. The guy insists on his version, referring to personal observations. The AI analyzes the possible motives of the intruders. The man mentions the lack of movement in the room while climbing the rope. No movement of anything alive. Suddenly he spits all his coffee out of his mouth in shock because he has met the very guy he wanted to see so badly. A man is asked about the skill of the tightrope walker shown during the fire. He's just showing off. He was also asked why he had not told earlier about it. The guy evades explanations, referring to the absence of questions earlier. The hero is compared to Spider-Man because of his agility. Artificial intelligence offers a standard explanation, but the man changes the subject. The guy restates his version of the murder, ignoring the emotional response. The detective recommends collecting technical evidence. Man indicates no signs of life in the burning room. Nakan suggests that the victim was dead before the fire or under the influence of substances. The hero puts forward a version of arson to cover up the murder. The detective mentions a short circuit as the cause, but the guy doubts the official data. The girl tech confirms there are no security cameras. A man decides to look for witnesses despite limited information. The guy offers to create a sketch of the suspects. The AI replicates visual data recorded before the fire. The man describes 4 people. The character details the appearance of the suspects. This technology proved to be very useful in this situation. The man goes to the 4 characters on that street at the time of the explosion. They're the ones who probably started the fire. The character details the first suspect's appearance: red plaid shirt, gray phone case. The detective records the accuracy of the description. The guy chuckles. Of course he'll describe them accurately now their picture is right in front of his face. The man moves on to the second and third characters. The system recommends speeding up the process until the information is lost. The hero completes the description and the system suggests using the data for a manhunt. The detective approves the plan of action. A man offers to help with sketching without an artist. The AI projects images of the suspects into the guy's field of view. Guy corrects the projection, drawing admiration from those around him. He says he can just draw them. The hero proceeds to draw, ignoring comments about his weirdness. The AI records the risk of exposure. Guy uses AI to enlarge and enhance images. The man projects the data onto paper to create a sketch. The character adjusts the position of the projection, prompting questions from the detective. Artificial intelligence masks the source of the information. A man starts sketching 3 suspects. The system recommends handing them over to the police without further explanation. The guy persists despite the skepticism. The system reminds evidence is more important than verbal altercations. The hero ends the interaction, leaving the detective confused. The AI detects the need to speed up the investigation. The detective expresses disbelief in the guy's methods. His drawings don't look quite like anything you can find. Guy crumples the page, noting the lack of useful information. The system suggests returning to the investigation, avoiding distractions. The hero closes the tab, going back to analyzing the evidence. He tells the detectives he was just kidding. Nakong asks the AI to help with the creation of the sketch. The robot explains that this requires temporary control of the body. The AI activates the collaborative mode. The hero criticizes the system's limitations but agrees to the terms. Artificial intelligence corrects hand movements for accurate drawing. Guy begins to create an image, but the members of the case squad in the detective department doubt his abilities. The guy quickly sketches out the page, ignoring their displeasure. This impresses everyone around him. The hero goes back to sketch out the suspects. They see something that surprises them very much. They were even horrified with his abilities, just inhuman capabilities the guy shows. Nakon doesn't just draw, he literally behaves like an inkjet printer from Urki, creating a perfect image. Everyone around them is bent over the table and standing with their mouths open. The action reminds them of just a machine, not a person. EE jokingly reveals his affiliation with the Earth Alliance Special Forces in thought. Guy says it's not the time for confessions. A man links arson to a fleeing felon among the three. The system suggests checking their backgrounds and connections to the victim. The hero makes a plan of action, ignoring questions about his main activity. The AI reminds you to hide your identity. The detective orders the team to verify the suspects' identities. Artificial intelligence synchronizes the data with police databases. The next day, the action shifts to a feeding establishment. That's where our guy works. And today is clearly his shift. The signature rice dish pleases not only the stomach but also the eyes of food lovers. The girl praises the guy's cooking skills, distracting him from thinking. The rescued girl starts a discussion about yesterday's arson. It learns about the arrest of an arsonist and the discovery of drugs. The system analyzes the speed of the police investigation. Guy suspects that the arrest may have been part of a larger conspiracy. He ponders the new drug involved in it all. He decides to finish his op work for the day and call the detective on the case. A detective reports the successful apprehension of a criminal thanks to the guy's data. Artificial intelligence confirms the presence of drugs in the case. A man discovers that one of the suspects knew the victim. The system identifies inconsistencies in the motive for the murder. The hero decides to delve deeper into the investigation, ignoring the detective's jokes. The AI reminds him the true cause may be more complicated. There's a lot of drugs involved. He reveals that after the guy was denied a dose without money, he killed his dealer. A guy participates in an operation against traffickers of illegal substances. Artificial intelligence notes the presence of a famous actor at the scene of the raid. A man discusses publishing a sketch, but the system warns of the risks. A detective thanks a hero for his help, speeding up the investigation. A man discusses publishing a sketch, but the system warns of risks. The guy refuses to reveal his authorship of the sketch, maintaining his anonymity. The AI analyzes the implications of publicity for alliance missions. The man ignores the jokes about heroism, focusing on new tasks. The system reminds even partial information can attract the attention of enemies. Everyone at the table had stopped eating and was now listening about how their colleague had helped in the investigation of the case. The girl questions the guy about his contribution to the investigation. The man withholds details, calling the sketch a mere sketch. The AI registers skepticism. Hero rejects assumptions of a failed drawing by changing the subject. The system recommends avoiding further questions about cooperation with the police. Someone interrupts the conversation, leaving the girl puzzled. Something happened in the computer room. A man faces an embarrassing situation, spilled ramen during cyber training. The AI analyzes the cause of the incident, careless firing of a weapon. The girl strives to clean up the aftermath of the accident, joking about the bonus from her superiors. All employees try to quickly clean up the misunderstanding. The girl runs forward with a mop to help the visitors, but suddenly she runs into some fat guy. The girl apologizes for the awkwardness, but the guy ignores her worries. The AI reminds her to return to the main mission. A guy diagnoses a coworker's wrist injury after an incident. Artificial intelligence confirms there is no fracture, but detects a sprain. He doubts the fracture and approaches the guy and asks him if he can touch and help him. The man demonstrates massage skills, relieving pain with even slight palpation of the injured area. Guy explains the diagnosis, a mild sprain that doesn't require severe restriction. Artificial intelligence adjusts the recovery plan. The man rejects requests for more massages, focusing on the tasks at hand. Everyone around him admires him. The hero completes the examination, leaving his colleague under observation, and also forbids the injured man from working despite urgent plans. Fatty talks about how he can't not work. He should be selling food at his food truck by tomorrow. A girl agrees to help with a food truck as its owner is traumatized by a coworker's injury. A man rejects an offer to cook noodles, insisting on quality food. He recommends that they engage professionals. Now he looks pitifully at the protagonist. He's confident that his skills will help his business of selling food on the street. His eyes say so, the matter is almost solved, just say yes and everything will be fine. The guy refuses the deal, citing busyness. Artificial intelligence detects the interlocutor's disappointment. The man wants to pay, but Na Kong ignores the financial offer, ending the dialogue. Now it's down to action. He aggressively and quickly shakes his hand. He's ready and willing for the deal. He needs the money badly. A man discusses the menu for a food truck, joking about his inexperience. AI notes that moonlighting can be a cover for data collection. Fatty mentions the reputation of the local cafe frequented daily. He hopes that this food will help his place become more popular. The man talks about how if the protagonist helps him, maybe he'll even give him some advice or some tea money. Artificial intelligence reminds him to move to other areas to investigate. A man links the assignment to the mission, masking the true objectives. In the morning, they're already going all out on this huge food truck to places where they can get a great food trade. Na Khan demonstrates his driving skills, surprising his colleague already. He notes the smoothness that his car never gave him. The guy plans to impress the crew with food. There will also be actors and other characters at that location. The fat man reminds the protagonist of the presence of an actor connected to a drug case. The protagonist masks his interest in the investigation. A man learns about the postponement of the release of the movie because of the scandal. The guy assesses the financial risks for the studio, linking them to the failure of the mission. The guy discusses the chaos on the set. They're reshooting all the scenes that involve a drug-addicted actor. He analyzes the reasons for the urgent reshoots. The man notes the pressure on the director but avoids direct intervention. The dialogue continues with mention of the studio's debt. They've already booked a lot of theater, so they can't reschedule. The guy talks about a director who is one of the most popular in Korea at the moment, and the action carries right over to his studio. Director Song Tae-min is furious about the forced changes. He fixes his status in the industry. The man tries to calm the director, but he rejects the help. He recommends concentrating on watching the filming process. The director notices that the shooting is done in a hurry. He highlights possible mistakes that could be fatal to his movie, all because of a drug addict. The director lashes out at the crew, blaming everything on the arrested actor. Everyone around is shocked at the outburst of emotions of the chief on the set. A girl from the staff runs up to them and tells them that the food truck is ready. The director demands that the food truck be removed, considering it a waste of money. Now he can't even eat a bite. But he already finds himself in the canteen and praises the food he was given here. It made him feel better and gave him hope. He says he wasn't hungry, but she knocked him up very quickly and very deliciously. The director asks, did they put something forbidden in the food? But the people nearby ask him not to talk about it. An employee explains that the new guy chef is replacing an injured cook. The young chef's skills impress everyone. The man uses the positive atmosphere to gather conversations about filming. He praises his script about mountain ranges. The director temporarily calms down, thanking his subordinate for his support. Suddenly, during their conversation, a voice breaks out and shouts loudly that there has been an unpleasant incident on the set. A girl talks about an emergency happening on set. A stuntman injures his leg. Her name is Shin Eun-ha. The man rushes to the rescue, leaving his chopsticks right on the table, but he managed to finish the dish. The whole team runs and sees a squirming man sitting on the ground holding his legs. They want to help him and give him first aid. There is chaos on the set. A stuntman with an injured leg is lying on the ground. The director panics and orders an ambulance but doubts its arrival. The characters discuss the curse haunting the movie. A man checks the condition of the victim, assessing the severity of the injury. Actress Jin Yoon-ha fusses around trying to find a compression bandage. The director yells for urgent help. The director mumbles in despair about the failure of the project. A man concentrates on applying a bandage, demonstrating his field medicine skills. At this time, the two guys from the food truck are looking at the whole situation surrounding the shooting and the stuntman. Fatty admires his skills, recalling the wrist incident. He asks if there is anything he can do to help in this situation. He looks at them from afar and talks about how something could have been thought of to help. Nakhon approaches them and his shadow falls directly on a broken stuntman whose injury disrupts the making of the movie. He pleads with everyone around him to allow him to examine the bruise and do some relief for the stuntman. The guy coolly examines the stuntman's ankle, ignoring the panic around him. He offers to temporarily stabilize the joint to ease the pain. The characters look on hopefully at his actions. Nakhon turns to the girl closest to him as set personnel. He asks her for a favor. The man demands a compression bandage, pointing at the actress. Jin Yoon-ha stands confused, surprised that the hero called her staff. The director yells at the trainees, losing control. He wants everyone to act fast, not stand around and be stupid. The girl retreats closer to the warehouse to search for the necessary bandages, still resenting the simple cook for calling her a servant. She finally brought and handed bandages to our main character. The help continues. The actress stands offended while the guys next to her bravely try to help the stuntman with his broken leg. She looks on in surprise. Despite his work, he does everything right and fast. The man completes first aid, stating there is no fracture and the guy was and will be perfectly fine. The director grabs his head, yelling about finding a replacement. The stuntman is grateful but depressed. The stuntman's condition improves. He jokingly moves his leg, surprising the crew. The director demands that a replacement be found immediately, threatening to shut down the project. The guy talks about how making movies anytime soon with this stuntman just isn't possible. The director grabs his head, yelling about finding a replacement. The stuntman is grateful but depressed. He didn't want to let the team down after all. The assistant director asks about why they can't just replace that stuntman with another kid. The director rejects the idea of finding a double for the lead actor Kim Yoo-chan. He says in a panic, where in the mountains can we get a stuntman with his face and other credentials? He's screaming about how they won't have time to rehearse. And if they don't have time to make the movie, their heads will fly. The main character Kim Yoo-chan suddenly declares, I'll shoot the scene myself. The crew is horrified. If he gets injured, the movie will die. The director screams even louder, realizing that if the lead actor gets injured, it's the end of everything. There are no solutions. He decides to look around for a stunt double. To find a double for a stunt double role. The director promises triple pay to anyone who agrees to do the stunt. The team whispers, but no one makes up their minds. Suddenly there's a voice, I'll do it. Everyone turns to see a man standing there with a compressed bandage in his hands. Jin Yoon-ha ahs, you're a chef. The guy shrugs, I have experience. The director has doubts about the choice of the chef as an understudy. A man relieves tension with a joke, I just like extreme sports. The girl actress goes on an old grudge and launches into a tirade about how you can't cast him for the role. He's not even part of the production team, he's just a left-handed person. But the director doesn't hear her. He stares at the two guys with a dumb look without saying anything. The director compares his features to actor Kim Yoo-chan. He is surprised to realize that they look alike. Very much alike. The heart of the movie maker has melted and he already agrees to hire this kid without paying attention to the remarks of his assistants. The director explains the urgency. The actor had to be replaced because of a drug scandal. The man suggests improvising instead of memorized moves. The crew is horrified. It's dangerous. The guy agrees to makeup and CGI correction to enhance the likeness. The director smokes nervously, repeating, this is the last chance. They move into a room in which there is constant filming of movies on green and blue backgrounds. Happens again, welcoming the main male character back into the movie and the role of an actress who is negative towards the main character. They go and discuss the script. The director jokes that he'll smoke a pack of cigarettes while they get ready. He shows him the scenario. He gets punched in the arms, legs, jaw, and many other places. The guy's a little freaked out by it. They discuss the fact that it has to look natural, though. And it's not a real fight, it's just a very complicated dance. The man criticizes the formulaic choreography, suggesting some other AI methods. The guy turns to the dancers and says, for better results, they can fight for real. They're shocked he could get hurt. They continue to discuss the pros and cons of this method while the girl stands in the background. The girl hears all these excuses, someone will get hurt, that they need to move well. And the actress stands and is clearly not satisfied. The woman talks about how they shouldn't have to come up with something new since they aren't even actors, unlike her. A guy walks up to the director and demands to shoot a scene in one take. He looks at him in surprise from behind his computer screen. He looks at the newly minted stuntman and marvels at his revolutionary methods. Of course, let him do it if at all possible. Director declares trust in a man, his instincts are our salvation. Guy jokes about triple pay alias signing a contract. He sends him to the set and asks him not to let him down during filming. The guy guarantees it. The hairy man uses his directorial instincts and upon brief reflection realizes, this kid is trustworthy. Motor beginning. The scene begins with a girl screaming from behind all her might that she needs help. She asks for help. Already a little quieter, a trio of thuggish actors approach to cripple the fragile girl. They smile evilly and talk about how they will torture the young girl for a long time. They call her scum and ask her to give up everything she has. Suddenly the door is opened with a foot by an unknown hero. He looks very cool and is going to save the girl. A man faces a group of adversaries, perplexed as to how he discovered them. His bounciness causes shock and his calm instructions paralyze the will of the attackers. The guy controls the fight as if directing a play. Opponents attack fiercely, but every move is predictable. The hero dodges with ease, directing their blows into the void. The situation is reminiscent of a training session where he is a mentor. Tension builds, but the man keeps his cool. His actions are as precise as an algorithm, leaving his enemies confused. The scene turns into a show of superiority. The bout concludes lightning fast. The guy is already preparing to dodge as easily as possible. The guy marks the points of future strikes in advance, demonstrating a fusion of intuition and calculation. His body reacts before the command comes, shocking those around him. The man performs a perfect dodge, giving the camera a spectacular angle. The movements are polished as if rehearsed over the years. Even experienced stuntmen are frozen in amazement. The AI is silent, but the hero acts as if by instruction. Every move is part of a well-thought-out strategy that turns chaotic fighting into choreography. The cameramen cheer as they get the perfect shot. The director whispers, he's a genius. The guy remains unperturbed, as if it's just a routine scene. The scene goes off script, but the man adapts instantly. He tells camera 3 to capture the key moment, changing the dynamics of the shot. The character's improvisation introduces chaos, but he turns it to his advantage. The cameramen hastily change angles, trying not to miss details. The director is mesmerized. The guy acts as if he sees the whole movie. His decisions are illogical to others, but the result is flawless. The team begins to believe in miracles. The action goes off script, causing confusion for the actors. The man maintains control, making the unforeseen part of the plot. His reaction to spontaneous attacks is lightning fast. He seems to anticipate his opponent's every move, even if they act illogically. The choreographer freezes, not daring to stop filming. The guy leads the stage like a conductor, where every participant is an instrument in his hands. The director forgets to give the stop command, mesmerized by what is happening. The man is immersed in the role, blurring the line between reality and acting. The cameramen, forgetting about fatigue, shoot from different angles. Each frame is a masterpiece, but the hero is dissatisfied with the little things. His perfectionism knows no bounds. The guy corrects the actor's positions, his punches and dodges are precise and ruthless. The director realizes that this man is the key to success, but also a source of anxiety. His iron abs get into the lens frame, already automatically attracting millions of female audience to the movie. The tension on the floor peaks, but the man maintains an icy calm. He arches back and unbends, hitting the dancers in the head. The actors, skeptical at first, now blindly trust him. Each movement of the character is a piece of a complex puzzle that adds up to a masterpiece. Even in improvisation, he stays true to the character. This is not acting, a complete transformation that makes you forget about reality. The director furiously discusses the guy's attack on everyone. But the man is focused on the mission. His eyes are staring off into the distance, analyzing the data. The lead actress and actor are also in complete shock. Such a performance was hard to even expect. The final take is complete. The guy nods, satisfied but showing no emotion. Everyone around him calls him a crazy bastard. The guy walks up to the girl and she's already all shaky with fear in front of the crazy stuntman. The guy shows up at a critical moment, interrupting the conflict from the script. He says he's come to save the girl. The man assesses the situation, noting camera angles and actors' positions. The AI analyzes the risks, but the hero acts without hesitation. The actress freezes, watching his actions. The guy takes the initiative even though it is not in the script. The frame is covered by a plaque with a number. The take is off, and it looks just fine and vivid. Chaos on the set reaches a peak. The actors are panicking. A stuntman is injured. The man quickly stabilizes the situation by giving clear instructions. People check the condition of the injured using basic first aid skills. They recall cases that have happened before. The director is hesitant to continue filming, but the hero insists. He is shocked by the protagonist's murderous improvisation. A guy in leopard pants comes up and calls out to some mister for his displeasure. All the actors gather around him and heatedly discuss the shot. There seems to be a conflict brewing now. The actors discuss Guy's technique in bewilderment. The punches look realistic but don't hurt. The man remains silent. The director studies the footage, marveling at the accuracy of the movements. The guy discreetly leaves the set, leaving questions unanswered. The assistant director confronts Guy, accusing him of being overly aggressive. The man calmly explains each blow is calculated for safety. The actors confirm no injuries, describing the sensation as slippery. Guy avoids details, citing experience. He analyzes the team's reaction and is shocked to find that they're not lying. Indeed, they're not damaged in any way. They keep describing what they themselves thought would hurt. But in fact, the fist touched them, but nothing happened. The guy demonstrates a unique technique. The blows look hard, but soften at the last moment. The actors compare it to skiing. The man adjusts the camera positions to capture the nuances. The director notes that even the falls look spectacular thanks to his calculations. The guy on the batter team says his knees don't even hurt at all. The cameramen review the footage, shocked by the lack of mistakes. The guy discreetly analyzes the footage, marking points for improvement. The director insists on a second viewing, but the man refuses. His goal is achieved, the scene is set, the evidence is collected. Curly talking about not stopping the shooting because he knew there was no damage. He's clearly lying. Viewings continue and they are moved to a designated area for that purpose. The guy discusses camera placement with the cameraman, approving the perfect angles. His knowledge shocks the team, but he avoids explaining. The man leaves the set, leaving the director with the perfect shots. The AI reminds us fame is dangerous to anonymity. The hero returns to the food truck, masking his true motives. The cameraman keeps saying that every shot is perfect. The kid is about to leave, but suddenly he is shouted at by the director. He asks him, is his participation in the movie over? He says he did, but he was left with a very good impression of working with him and his stunts. The director thanks Guy, comparing the result to Hollywood standards. The man nods, but avoids any unnecessary words. The team moves on to the next scene, inspired by his professionalism. The guy discreetly activates the AI to analyze the new data. The man continues filming, eliciting admiration for the realism of his acting. The actors discuss his technique, suggesting a connection to professional agencies. The girl actress talks about how her partner is a fool for admiring someone like Na Kang-in. Actors note that even painful moments look natural. The guy corrects the movements, creating the illusion of blows without physical contact. The team is mesmerized watching his work. The disgruntled actors whisper about possible tricks. The man remains neutral but looks at the actress strangely. He gave a very menacing look, noticing that this girl disliked him very much. His abrupt reaction is perplexing to the actress. He asks about why he is staring at her. Can he really read minds? The noise sharpens his attention. There's something going on all around him. We need to figure it out. A hero discovers a hidden flaw that threatens the safety of the site. The director panics and gives the order to evacuate. He lifts his head up and freezes in surprise. What he has seen is life-threatening to almost everyone on the set. The source of the noise is found. It is a huge beam above the girl and the rest of the crew. It makes such a sound, portending trouble. He looks at her and thinks that if she falls now, it will be very, very bad. A lot of people would lose their lives. The AI analyzes how much time is left before disaster strikes, 5 seconds. That's all the time Nakane has to solve the situation. A man coordinates the team's actions, preventing chaos. His coolness and quick thinking saves the group from possible injury. He pushes away the actor whose doppelganger he is and stays close to the girl, realizing that there are already 4 seconds left. Now it's 3. The girl is clutching her head in fear and anger. She's still fuming at what's going on. The kid grabs the baba and runs, holding her with him. With 2 seconds left, the girl calls for help. The top of the set begins to collapse, endangering everyone. The man reacts instantly, pushing the actors to a safe area. 1 second to go. The hero uses improvised materials to fight off parts of the structure. His actions are precise despite the limited time. The director discusses what is happening on the set while Guy continues to control the situation. The team watches in horror at his dedication. The collapse of a large structure causes panic. A man directs people to the exits, avoiding the crush. His voice remains calm, inspiring confidence. The girl squeaks about how she's really scared. The hat is obviously not going to save her, and she realizes it. While this fool is yelling at the top of his lungs, the man selflessly chops off pieces of metal and tells the girl to be quiet. He fights off the iron flying at them and runs on with the girl on his shoulder. It looks cool and heroic. Suddenly, he issues him a huge warning that there is more sickening danger waiting for him nearby. The AI is analyzing the environment around him and is now pointing out to him that a very large part of the building next to him is collapsing. The dust settles after the roof of the building abruptly collapsed straight down almost onto people. The director and the rest of the crew stare in shock at the spot where the young girl actress and the stuntman were. They peer into the fog and wonder if there is anyone alive out there. People are still questioning for an answer, but they walk in silence and the girl's red hair almost touches the ground. A guy walks out with an unconscious girl on his shoulder and feels like a total hero. She finally opens her eyes after what they went through with Na Kane, who rescued her right out from under flying debris. Suddenly a panic attack takes her and she breaks free, begging to be rescued. The guy says he's already done everything and she's alive. He teases her and talks about how she probably wasn't really expecting this particular outcome of events. She yells at him and says why didn't he throw her out of the rock fall radius as well, just like he did with the male actor. He says he saved her from the crash and falling debris of the building and now she's better off recovering. A group of 2 people are standing right in the middle of the room and finally the little girl asks what happened here. The guy explains to her for the umpteenth time about the building collapsing and him saving them. This surprises the girl. She finally realizes that Na Kong just saved her and Yu Chan from being smashed through or crushed by the iron beams. The actress folds her arms and tearfully thanks the guy for saving her. Na Kong, like a true Sigma, tells her to lie down and be quiet. She jumps off of him in a frenzy and scoots farther away in the distance, but still doesn't move far away. The guy who got dumped jokes about the protagonist doing it because of his resentment towards him. But Kong rejects this and asks how he feels. The director runs in and asks his actors if they're okay. Without them, the movie won't happen. A group of men talk about how they are okay. The men state that one saved the other. The director asks about the girl. She starts to speak, but hesitates as she looks at the protagonist. She feels strange emotions towards him. The girl looks at him and says she's fine. In her mind, she's thinking that maybe Na Kongan isn't such a bad guy. The director breathes a sigh of relief. He's glad his worst doubts were not realized. He realizes that if everything had gone wrong, all 3 protagonists could be lying in their own blood without life. The head of filming realizes that together with the drug scandal, this situation would definitely destroy his movie. In his thoughts, the curly-haired man thanks Na Kong-in. He considers him the cape-wearing hero who saved his fate and the movie. The assistant suggests that the director do a quick fix and finish shooting the scenes. The director yells at him, "What if everything collapses again?" Suddenly, one of the cameramen comes up to them and talks about how the cameras were on the whole time. They filmed everything. He decides right now to take and review these masterpiece shots that will clearly touch the hearts of the audience in the movie theater. In the video, they see the girl on the irks of the hero's boyfriend who is making his way through a collapsing building with her in his arms. There are also some very juicy angles where the hero shines his abs and is now batting away objects falling on them with rebar. After the collapse, the shooting is postponed, but the atmosphere improves. The guy adjusts the script, emphasizing dynamic scenes. His methods become a benchmark for the team. The director sees him as salvation when discussing the prospects for the movie. The team manager demands changes, fearing failure. The director defends the new approach, pinning his hopes on Guy. All the creative people on the team understand. This scene is the pinnacle of the movie structure. They dance for joy around the video monitor. The director is already thinking about how this scene will become a classic, and there's no way he'll cut it out of the movie. Me. But his assistant chokes up again and talks about how it could be dangerous. The scene is unplanned and just being a disaster. They discuss the fact that if the audience realizes this, a wave of heat will fall on the production of the movie. The director insists that if no one is injured, you can even wrap it in a marketing campaign. The discussion hinges on the impossibility of approving this footage without the consent of the stuntman shot on this film himself. The director snaps out of his seat and runs to the protagonist to ask his permission to use the footage. The solution thanks the guy and calls him the hero of the sleeping girl and guy actors, helping him make the movie. Na Kangin says she was just doing what she should in conscience. There's no limit to his nobility. Now the director has decided to talk about the things he's really interested in. He's begging to be allowed to use the video from the disaster. The AI warns him about the dangers of popularity. But the hero quickly agrees to its proposal. They shake hands with the director and the AI accepts it, saying that at least his face was masked. The manager stands over the actress Soul and asks her how she's feeling. She replies that she seems fine. She turns and looks at her savior. She's grateful to him. But one detail keeps her on her toes. The huge hole in the guy's back and shirt is a reminder that he's human too and could be hurt. She jumps up and talks about how he must be in pain. He has such a hole in the back of his shirt. She thanks him profusely, but he replies it's just his job. He jokes about how he's always happy to help the staff, to which she freaks out and talks about how she's actually an actress. Na Kangin turns to the director and says that since his job is over, he should head back to the food truck. The director analyzes everything about this guy. They cook in a truck but taste the best, and also this guy is very young but has multiple talents. They all discuss his actual job together. No one expected him to work as a cook at a computer club. They are perplexed about what he forgot there, but okay. The director comes up with a plan to pick him up from work and invite him to the set. The girl actress talks about how they can make the best action movie with the help of this guy. This is even though the original genre of the movie was a romantic comedy. The director suggests cutting out the scenes with the drug-addicted actor and adding action. His assistant does not understand the logic of such changes. The man recalls how Guy instantly calculated the movements in the shot. A colleague irritably suggests hiring a stuntman. The head of filming says he doesn't see anyone else in the role but Na Kang-in. He's the best in the business. He assures them they don't need anyone other than a guy with wonderful abilities. But the assistant claims he's not even an actor. A woman questions the legality of hiring Na Kang-in. Her colleague argues that the license doesn't matter if he's doing better than the stars. The deputy mentions a food truck where a man was filling in for the cook. We'll have to do something about that food truck, too. The director gets annoyed, interrupting the conversation and stating that he will decide everything himself. Their task for the moment is simply to wait. The director quickly runs away. While beckoning the young chef to join him, the assistant now doesn't even know if the movie will be okay. The action switches and the man examines the collapsed structure. Not so long ago, he was rescuing people from here. The AI analyzes the damage, estimating an 87% chance of intentional harm. Na Kang-in agrees with the findings. The guy notices tool marks on the supports, indicating that the fasteners are loose. He assumes that the saboteur's target is actress Shin Eun-ha. Na Kang-in listens to arguments about a targeted attack on the movie project. The AI suggests an urgent evacuation of the team. The man refuses, believing that leaving will lead to defeat. He decides to stay while gathering evidence against the saboteurs. Suddenly he hears someone running and calling out to him. The guy turns out to be the director. The director announces the continuation of filming. Kang-in refuses, citing his need to return to his main job in Seoul. The man insists he only needs it when filming scenes. The AI reminds him of the mission, but Guy agrees to help. The team expresses jubilation. The director, with the help of his connections, says that the entire movie will start shooting in Seoul tomorrow. Kang-in has to leave to get ready. The director interrupts him, emphasizing the action. Na Kang-in requests an advance payment. The director shows hesitation but agrees and approves, believing that funds will be found for the sake of his participation. A man suspects the ulterior motives of the sponsors. The AI analyzes the contract, finding the risks minimal and recommending acceptance of the offer. The guy signs the deal. The director rejoices in the joy of his new actor. After that, some time passes. The director brags to his colleagues about creating a masterpiece with his help. The team expresses doubts but hopes for a positive outcome. Filming takes place at an accelerated pace. Na Kangin corrects each scene by substituting for the stuntmen. The actresses express their admiration for his skills. The male cameraman captures perfect takes. The director emotionally expresses delight and confidence in the historical significance of what is happening. The AI warns of the growing attention on Guy. He ignores the warning, intending to finish his work and leave. Time passes and now 2 white-tinted sports cars fly into the set's courtyard. That person turns out to be Mr. Kim, the studio manager who is sponsoring the making of this film. The studio manager bursts onto the set and immediately runs to the director with new terms and news. Kim expresses the need for rescue. The guy guffaws about his job and runs faster and faster. He grabs the fat guy and says that the movie should be released now, at least for ratings, not money. The board is not happy and the studio is losing money. Manager Kim demands an immediate solution to the rental problems and more. The director stops him and tells him to be quiet. He assures that he will change the genre of the movie to save the project. The team is shocked by the statement. The manager analyzes the thoughts. The guy manager tries to reason with the principal by writing a report on his insanity right now. The director announces a change of genre. It's now a romantic comedy with action elements. He pisses off the manager. Curly talks about even being able to rewrite the entire script in the remaining week. Someone speaks from behind the wall and quietly flushes behind it, which is very strange. He turns the manager's attention to the door, and who is it and what's going on? He didn't see that coming. At first the guy in the shirt and tie says it's the wind, but as soon as he saw the figure immediately ran towards him. The studio president bursts into the pavilion. The director pales, trying to justify the chaos on the set, but remains in the shadows. The man criticizes the quality of the decorations and contemptuously inspects everything in the neighborhood. The studio president personally inspects the set. The director trembles, but continues to work, ignoring the top management. A man notices the president's interest in the new footage. He comes up and says that initially he didn't even want to come here. He demonstrates the scene of the collapse. The people around him freeze and the president nods disapprovingly. This situation doesn't give the president the right to not show up here. He absolutely has to inspect the disaster. The president rebukes the manager for negligence. The guy excuses himself, again recalling the scandal with the actor. The director watches from a distance. The man interrupts the argument by showing the data on sabotage. He also doesn't want the drug scandal to be remembered. Suddenly we hear the stomping of little feet stomping across the set. She's wearing a pink skirt and shoes. The president's daughter, a young actress, shows up on the set. She's looking for her daddy to ask him something. The president changes his face, trying to please the child. He says he wasn't angry or yelling today. The director also walks over to the little girl and greets his boss's daughter. The director vows to finish everything on time. The guy discreetly adjusts the schedule to meet the week's deadline. As all the actors come out of their apartments and see a little girl they know saying hello to her, the director praises Na Kangin's skills in front of the president. The man is skeptical, asking why no one has heard of him. The man shrugs his shoulders. The man in the suit indicates that he believes his choice in the young cook. He has always trusted him. The president demands a meeting with the secret weapon. The director leads him to a food truck where Na Kangin is minding his own business. The team is looking for Na Kangin for new scenes. They find him at a food truck where he is preparing a dish at the same time. The director begs the president to watch it. Soon it shocks them both. The president opened his eyes wide because what he saw was amazing. The guy cooks in such a way that his dish glows. He stares in surprise at the young guy wearing some kind of strange mask in front of him. The director is jubilant as he reviews his dish. A huge wave of the world's best rice is now being cooked right here and sold soon. A man discusses with the crew the guy's unusual role as a chef and stuntman. The director explains that the hero arrived by food truck, combining cooking with work on the set. Guy prepares a specialty dish of fried rice, causing amazement among the cast. His cooking skills become legendary, but his true purpose is disguised for the mission. The director mentions the character's connection to martial arts, avoiding details. The man remains neutral, transferring the conversation to the organization of filming. Curly jokes about combining professions, but Guy ignores the comments. His attention is focused on analyzing the suspect's behavior. He asks, did he really call in this no idea who to replace the lead actor in the action scenes? The director claims he did. The president interrupts him and talks about how he must be messing with him or causing a conflict. He asks him, does he really want to keep the budget with this stuntman, but the director changes his mind. A lot of people are already watching their altercation. The director says that no one will regret his role in the movie. The president turns him down and walks off the set. He orders Kim's manager to destroy everything unnecessary. But then suddenly the action switches to a little girl with some food prepared by Na Kong-in. A man treats the team to a mixed snack, emphasizing its uniqueness. A child actor admires the flavor but is restricted by his parents in eating. The guy offers to make appetizers elsewhere, masking interest in a possible meeting. The girl says she's a leading actor and can't ruin her figure with these snacks. And she still asks him to meet her somewhere so he can make her many more delicious snacks. He says she can always come to the computer club and there he cooks at his regular job. A child asks for a phone number to secretly receive treats. The hero agrees, seeing it as a chance to gather information through informal contacts. The kid saves the hero's number under the name Snack Guy, laughing at his ingenuity. The man doesn't mind. The assistant tries to show the footage to the CEO, emphasizing Guy's professionalism. His movements in the scenes are compared to Hollywood standards. The head of the company doubts the success, but the man insists the hero is the key to saving the movie. The man silently watches his subordinates tirade. Guy notices tension between producer and manager. The system recommends tracking their further interactions. The president of the company decides to watch some footage after all. Now it's just a matter of time. Explosive live footage just piquing the interest and admiration in the president from a couple shots alone. The producers are shocked at the quality of the raw footage without CGI. The director explains that everything is a credit to Guy and his unique skills. The man modestly mentions raw work, avoiding attention to his role. The knowledge in not using graphics is even more profitable. The discussion turns to the choreography of the fights. Guy briefly comments on technique, leaving questions unanswered. A man is recognized for saving a movie set after the set collapsed. They consider him a hero. The director praises his skills in recruiting tedious people, such as this one-in-a-million young chef. The guy modestly waves off the praise, shifting the conversation to work-related matters. The CEO of the company apologizes for his previous doubts, acknowledging the hero's professionalism. The discussion turns to the financial prospects of the movie. The man discreetly analyzes the CEO's reaction, looking for signs of involvement in sabotage. CEO personally thanks Guy while visiting the food court. Guy offers him a specialty appetizer, disguising his interest as hospitality. The conversation turns to the CEO's daughter, who has already appreciated the hero's culinary talents. The guy mentions their meeting, watching his father's reaction. The head of the company says he's not here for snacks at all, but on the issue of saving the movie. The guy demands he try the treat and is surprised at the unusual flavor. He thinks he'll like this new dish. CEO admits he doesn't like the appetizer because of his army background. The guy jokes that his daughter likes the dish, causing laughter. He tastes a bite of this treat and blurts out. In a smile and amazement, the versatile taste of the appetizer delights him greatly. The president stands outside happy and realizes that this kid's dishes just taste magical. They discuss the fact that the president's daughter has also already tried the snack and she really liked it. The mustachioed man is pleased that his daughter has already had time to thank the young talented lad. The president yells and wiggles his butt, beckoning his daughter to eat an appetizer with him. CEO's daughter's disappearance causes panic. A man joins the search using data on her last contacts. Guy checks the AI's records, not finding her anywhere nearby. Where is she now? He walks around the building and doesn't realize, could Leona be somewhere here, inside the building, or above or below? The search continues. The guy analyzes the phone number he received from the girl. The system identifies suspicious calls. A man discovers a connection between the number and an anonymous source. The director insists on involving the police, but the hero dissuades him. He brings the phone to his ear and his face suddenly becomes very concerned. The president is spinning around trying to figure out what he heard that made him so sad in the moment. The CEO is confronted by a hero whose face is contorted with rage. The man remains calm, but there is fire and anger burning inside him. He puts the phone away and speaks to the AI to further analyze where the girl called from. The hero examines a sound recorded during the girl's disappearance. The AI identifies the noise as a plastic-to-metal interaction indicating a possible trap. Sound analysis reveals the presence of a reinforced plastic container. Guy suggests that the girl may have been trapped in a confined space. The hero explores the location, finding scraps of snack packaging. The system scans the tracks, determining the direction of the kidnapper's movement. He also notices a huge amount of echoes, so a soft object with a lot of empty space inside. The guy deciphers the container's material data, plastic with a huge empty space in the middle with metal. Suddenly he realizes that this place is a car. She was taken away from here in a car forcibly. The frame switches and we see the girl with her mouth tied up. Someone nearby discussing the fact that they shouldn't have given the captive a cell phone. The kidnappers panic as they discuss the unexpected call from Snack Guy's number. The guy uses the phone to find them. They get to some line and the main one of them orders everyone to get out and take the little girl with them. The frame switches back to the protagonist. The president of the firm asks him what he heard there. He asks him to simply explain what happened to his daughter. The silence makes him even more nervous. The hero finds the girl's backpack and a trail of snacks leading to the car. The AI analyzes the route, predicting the kidnapper's escape route. He's on the trail and he's already reached the place where the girl was stolen from. In the middle of the day, freaks. The man fakes a car engine, denying the criminals the opportunity to escape. The system alerts them to their hiding place. The guy activates all his IID chips to prevent the kidnapping of an innocent girl. He starts running very fast, breaking off without ever explaining anything to the president of the company. CO discovers his daughter's backpack, freaking out. Something seems to have really happened. He stares after the protagonist, not understanding how this could happen in today's world. The driver looks ahead and sees our protagonist in front of him, aiming to punch himself through the windshield. The guy inside, the gang leader, makes the driver not just wait, but step on the gas and crush this asshole. A man pursues the kidnapper's car, ignoring their attempts to escape. His actions are calculated with precision, despite the seeming risk. He looks at the sign and realizes it would be the perfect weapon. EE agrees with him. Na Kongin pulls out a sign and takes it in his hands like a huge, powerful spear that can stop a car. The guy approaches the car using his knowledge of the vehicle's vulnerabilities. The AI highlights the point of impact, the engine that needs to be disabled. The criminals increase their speed in panic, but the hero maintains control. His goal is to prevent them from escaping without harming the hostage. The gang leader orders a subordinate to move even faster in order to keep this asshole from getting to them. A little girl looks at it and is very sad. She hopes her friends can save her. The kidnappers mistakenly believe that the hero has given up the chase. Their self-confidence allows Guy to stealthily shorten the distance. The man analyzes the driving route, predicting the maneuvers of opponents. The AI detects the car's movements, allowing it to catch up with them. The kidnapper guy looks out the back window and sees in it the reflection of a man in a green Hawaii flying toward them. He jumps on the roof of their car, taking all the fucking kidnappers by surprise. He prepares to pierce the roof. Na Kongin is waving his sign. It's like it weighs nothing and prepares to hit the roof of the car with it. The appearance of a man in front of a car causes chaos among the criminals. Their attempts to run him down are futile. There's a breach. The guy uses improvised means to create obstacles. The AI calculates the optimal angle of attack, minimizing the risks for the hostage. The criminals lose control of the vehicle and the car starts to drive incomprehensibly. The man disarms them, keeping his cool. The AI shows the host the engine's point of vulnerability. Its knowledge allows the protagonist to immobilize the car in a single blow. He raises his iron rod and aims for a sharp strike on a point under the hood. The criminal's final attempt to throw the man down fails. His grip and calculation prove stronger than their desperate efforts. The guy disarms the driver, forcing the guy to stop. The AI locks up the car's systems, bringing the car to a complete stop. The criminals are apprehended and the hostage is safe. The hero looks haughtily at the criminals, leaving a mystery for all who witnessed his actions. But the guys don't give up hope. The ringleader commands again and now says that they need to move backwards to take down these pursuers. And they do it with one tap on the brakes. The guy flies away. The perps almost have the upper hand. The little girl looks at the boy and realizes that her meager hope for a happy future has dissolved. At the base of filming gathered a lot of people watching from the side of the town and agora on which the action takes place. The names of the protagonist and the girl are particularly resounding. Now it's unclear how they can get the girl back to themselves. A guy yells angrily at his interlocutor, clutching the steering wheel. His face is contorted with anger with a blurred landscape in the background. The man sharply applies the emergency brake. The car swerves, pushing the savior away. He's flying through the air and realizes that if he doesn't do something cool and risky, he's going to die right there. In the end, the kid lands clear as a superhero on 3 anchor points, legs and arm. He lifts his head and looks at the little girl's kidnappers with rage. He's ready to kill all 3 of them. The AI says he locked the car's brakes. He didn't even know he could do that. The girl looks at him with admiration. The head thug orders the driver to move forward and he agrees and says he'll do it all now. But the car stands dead weight, not moving backwards or forwards, only a hole shining in the roof of the car. The man in blue asks, "Why are you standing there?" The driver says that the car is not working. It must have broken down. They look at the hood and realize Na Kang-in was originally aiming for the right department under the hood to immobilize the car. The man in charge slaps his subordinates on the back and tells them to go kill this guy. He himself promises to stay here in the car and make sure this little girl doesn't go anywhere from him. 2 dim-witted thugs look at the protagonist and ask who he is and what he even wants with this girl. He says his name is Batman, acting quite seriously. In seconds, to cries of incomprehension, he reaches them in a couple of spurts. He shows up with a punch in the face of one of them and says that Batman is an alien. The guy kicks his foot right in the kid's face with all his might and sends him straight into a knockout. In a couple moments, the hero moves behind the second thug's back and stops on the hood of their car. The fat guy with the knife realizes he can't even follow him with his eyes at this speed. For this ineptitude, he pays with his jaw, which is knocked off by the main character with a blow from below. Now he stands and all he has in front of him is a car and 2 nearly dead bodies lying on the muddy ground. He walks over and looks through the glass, at which time the ringleader is very much afraid and huddles in the corner of the car. Out of fear, the guy jumps away from the glass, exposing the brave little girl's face. They chat through the glass and the protagonist warns him that he will save her today at any cost. She looks up to him. She looks at him with hope and believes every word he says. He is a true idol to her. Now Na Kang is having a dialogue with the AI and asks what he should do to elevate her from the machine. The man devises a plan, lure the enemy away from the car to reduce the threat to Minji. The guy offers to retreat 15 meters, giving the illusion of safety. The enemy temporarily stops attacking but remains alert. Tension is rising. It is necessary to act until the enemy reinforcements arrive. Minji tries to leave the conflict zone, but the way is blocked. The AI analyzes the terrain, identifying optimal points for maneuver. The man adjusts his position, preparing for the next step. The enemy hesitating to attack first. The guy uses the pause to regroup his forces. He finally decides to go out and carry the girl behind him. The first point of the plan is accomplished. The kidnappers threaten to kill him, forbidding him to call the police. His voice shakes with rage and fear. A man demands that the car be handed over to him, warning of the consequences if Minji is harmed. The kidnappers scoff, but lose confidence. His father talks about how any unnecessary movement will destroy not only him, but his entire lineage up to the 10th generation. The guy is laughing insanely with grief. He definitely doesn't seem to be in over his head. The argument about calling the police escalates. The woman insists on a secret message, but the man doubts their promptness. Guy suggests delivering transportation to enemies to reduce the risk of escape. AI warns about increasing the chances of rescuing the hostage. The father pulls up and offers to let the guy get the car he needs to escape, just if him give his daughter to him. Minji screams, begging her father not to come any closer. The kidnappers demand that they raise their hands and step aside. They carefully approach each other. But the father can't stand it and starts running towards his daughter. Minji's father tries to intervene but is threatened with immediate reprisal. His face is contorted with despair. The guy gestures to stop the man, realizing that any movement will provoke violence. The kidnapper holds a knife to the hostage's throat. Minji freezes, holding back tears. Our guy watches it all from the sidelines. What's going to happen next? Scarlet blood stains the car and the ground. It's unclear who it belongs to, the father, the daughter, or the kidnapper himself. Blood flying around, but also father and daughter live means that damaged so and so other. That very person turns out to be the kidnapper who now falls down with his head shot through, so be it. A man throws a rock at an opponent, hitting the target accurately. A direct hit is indicated on the screen. Guy analyzes the trajectory of the throw. The AI confirms that the long-range weapon is a rock, and the angle is optimal. The enemy falls, and the family consisting of the daughter and father are together again and embrace, crying with happiness. Finally, they spread out the little girl's mouth, so she can tell all that has befallen her. The three kidnappers are lying on the ground with severe injuries: broken ribs, broken jaw, cracked skull. A man examines the wounds, calling for an ambulance. The AI highlights the injuries, indicating a minimum recovery time of 3 weeks. The guy points to one of the bandits struck by a rock. The cameraman captures details for the report. The shadow of a specialist flickers in the background. The man gives the order to send them to the hospital first. Minji's father resents the bandits being taken to the hospital before his daughter. His face is contorted with anger. The guy calmly explains that they won't survive without help. The girl looks at the man, squeezing the protagonist's hand. The AI analyzes the condition of the kidnappers. The man adds that they will answer to the law in 3 weeks. The girl whispers to Na Kang-in, suggesting that he should seize the moment to escape. After all, he might be going to prison now. The AI activates an escape protocol, but Guy refuses. A plan to find proof of innocence is brewing in his head. A man demands CCTV footage. The director parries that there are no cameras in the mountains. The guy points to the filming equipment. The AI highlights the path to the data. Kang-in notices the operator's hidden camera. His gaze becomes more confident. The director brags, calling Mr. Na a hero. The man nods silently, preparing to present the evidence. The director shows a video from the shooting, clear footage of the attack on Minji. The police are examining the footage. The guy is standing off to the side with his arms crossed. They are all analyzing the video that the curly-haired genius is now showing them. The screen shows Na Kang-in neutralizing the kidnappers. They marvel at the fact that all the faces can be seen clearly and their actions. The man gets an official affirmation of innocence. The director smirks, saying their PR team will sort it out. They ask, why did he shoot this? And the director replies that they make a lot of movies here, and this just happened to be on film. The AI is completing the escape protocol. The screen reads risk elimination. The boy exhales relaxedly. The company president threatens complaints to those who question Na Kang-in's innocence. The man ignores the pathos. The guy is about to leave, but is stopped, informing him that lunch is ready. He nods, heading towards the food truck. The man suggests Minji try the dessert, explaining its benefits for morale. The girl hesitates, but agrees. Guy demonstrates a tactical ration, emphasizing his role in critical situations. Minji tastes the treat and approves the taste. The director notices that the child is too scared to eat. He is surprised at how the dessert changes the girl's mood. But finally the girl has it all worked out, and a spoonful of sweetness is already in her mouth. Minji's father asks to taste the dessert, praising boyfriend's skills. The girl compares the food to army breadcrumbs. The man explains that he prepared the treats by hand without professional experience. The director doubts his words. The team discusses Na Kang-in's unusual cooking skills. His connection to the computer club is puzzling. The president of the company is the most surprised of all. How is this even possible? Suddenly a car appears in the frame and some woman with a girlfriend comes out of it in heels. The wife of the president of the company is furious at her husband's inaction. She examines her daughter, looking for signs of trauma. A man excuses himself, citing a stressful situation. A woman is dissatisfied with his appearance and behavior. Minji keeps to the side, playing with a toy. Na Kang-in continues to eat, avoiding getting involved in the conflict. A woman threatens to kill the perpetrators, ignoring the presence of the police. Her anger elicits mixed reactions. The director and his assistant look at all these conflicts and are shocked at how peaceful their lives are. The aunt tries to calm the mother down, but she refuses to hold back. The director proposes to settle the matter without witnesses. Na Kang-in receives a thank you for saving the girl. He replies with restraint, avoiding unnecessary words. The wife of the company president praises Na Kang-in's actions by mentioning the video of the fight. The man is downplaying his merits. The girl asks to cook her goodies again. The guy agrees, but warns about the unstable schedule. The wife takes Minji away, citing homework. The president of the company stays behind to handle organizational matters. The president thanks Guy for saving his daughter, offering an expensive dinner. He accepts the offer gladly. A man inquires about Na Kang'in's skills, doubting his work at the computer club. The guy confirms the information. They say their goodbyes and the president leaves on business while the protagonist stays with some red-headed girl. Redhead describes all the heroic acts the kid did today, but she still doesn't believe the computer club tales. She demands the address of the establishment for a personal visit. Na Kang'in grudgingly agrees but doesn't reveal the details. A woman saves Na Kang'in's number under the savior tag, justifying herself to her co-workers. The guy remains indifferent. The girl admires his coldness, comparing him to a hero from the movies. She tries to hide her embarrassment. The guy thinks he's found a new client at the PC club, but he can't see what the girl feels for him. Someone discovers a video leaked online. The man is furious and demands that the video be deleted, but the guy has already left the location. This man turns out to be the president of a video film company. He is not happy that his daughter's rescue was published on the internet. The company president is furious when he discovers the leaked video of his daughter's rescue. He suspects the film crew of publishing the footage without authorization. A man threatens to kill him, demanding to find the culprit. The director tries to calm him down, but to no avail. Na Kang'in stays on the sidelines, analyzing the situation. PR manager reports about the spread of the video on social networks. The president demands urgent removal of the recordings, but the process has already gotten out of control. He is already receiving calls from many authorities asking if his daughter is okay or not. He realizes that once a video is on the net, it will be very difficult to remove it from there. The internet remembers everything that goes into it. A man accuses the team of negligence. The director panics, promising to find the source of the leak. Na Kang'in silently observes the conflict. The director admits to leaking the video, justifying the speed of its distribution. His wife interrupts him, demanding immediate action. A man threatens to fire everyone involved. Na Kang'in checks the data through AI, discovering traces of a child's account. The director's wife talks about how it was his daughter Minji who posted the video online, which puts the solid man in a stupor. It turns out that Minji uploaded the video after being impressed by Na Kang'in's exploits. Minji thinks he's a movie hero and wants the world to know about him. The director is confused and makes excuses to his wife. The man is disappointed but softens when he recognizes his daughter's motives. Suddenly, the fat director appears and calls out to the presidente, asking if he is distracting him too much. The director tries to discuss something very serious, but the director's irritation takes over and he pounces on him a bit. Online, the video is perceived as a movie trailer. Viewers discuss the realism of the stunts, comparing them to Hollywood standards. The club kid says they clearly used the montage in marketing. The girls just marvel at the role of the guy they don't know. They're about to go to a movie with a friend and a kid with glasses tries to join them as a third extra. Viewers are debating whether Na Kang'in is in the video, with some noting the resemblance and others questioning the poor quality of the footage. They think about the fact that of course there are similarities, but it's unlikely that Na Kang'in will star in a movie like this. The employees are demanding the man's return to work. He's been missing for a long time and they're bored without his presence. The action switches to Na Kang'in being in some sort of battle state with a lot of people around. He fights off his attackers with his legs while pulling off amazing and beautiful stunts and kicking them spectacularly. He sees someone trying to attack him from behind and promptly runs up to him. Na Kang'in quickly turns around and kicks the guy with the revolver who tried to kill him with his foot from underneath. Enemies are over and a guy walks up to a red-headed girl, who he just saved from a bunch of angry men. We recognize this redhead as a girl actress. Turns out it was all just a movie shoot. The crew checks the equipment after the incident. The director praises the cameraman for the quality of the action scenes. An actor and a stuntman switch between them. Now the lead actor turns out to be the guy in the t-shirt and cap and he hugs the actress, talking about how she's a princess. The director announces the end of the take and thanks everyone. They did a good job and the scene came out great. The director praises the perfectly shot scene with Na Kang'in, but notices the oddities in the actress' looks. The head of the set says that when the girl shifts her gaze from the stuntman to the actor, her gaze becomes less interested. Now the director runs up to his chief stuntman, who is already chatting with the director. The man confirms the completion of the shoot and asks about the future schedule. He is told that the next take is scheduled for tomorrow. The leaked video of Minji's rescue is discussed. The AI records its distribution in local and foreign media. The president of the company analyzes the consequences of the leak. The video was mistaken for a movie promo, which saved the project's reputation. The man admits that the publication may have hurt his daughter, but agrees with the current strategy. The director thanks Na Kang-in for finishing filming early. AI highlights positive reviews online. The guy remains indifferent, checking the data for the next shooting. The team celebrates their success, but Na Kang-in is already heading for the exit without participating in the discussions. Actress Shin Eun-ha is changing her role slightly due to changes in the script. She is now the lead actress. The director invites Na Kang-in to dinner, recognizing his contribution to the growth of her role. Everyone else asks, why just him? The man politely declines the director's offer and says he has a movie to edit, but agrees to have dinner with the crew. Now they move to a restaurant. The guy mentions similarities to expensive restaurants. The guy also talks about how the drinks here are pretty good too, but his interlocutors do not please him. At dinner, the actors argue over who will pour Na Kang-in's drink. The man remains neutral, avoiding getting involved in the conflict. The female actress insists on a personal thank you, but the director refuses the argument and takes matters into his own hands himself. The hero looks at his drink and listens. The way the director tells him that he always dreamed of being a movie director. A man talks about his failures in independent filmmaking. He admits that family connections helped him stay in the industry. Na Kang-in listens silently, analyzing the sincerity of the words. Even the fighting actors fixate on the mention of the director's father's company, a manufacturer of military equipment. The man avoids comment when it comes to financing the movie. The director is reluctant to acknowledge the role of inheritance in his success. The director reveals the details of the deal. He pledged shares in his father's company to finance the movie. The failure of the project threatens him with serious consequences. Na Kang-in notes that Cheolin Engineering is known for outdated but reliable military designs. The man avoids discussing the director's personal risks. The man jokingly mentions that his father might take a golf club. The guy turns the conversation to food, showing indifference to financial details. He invested 10 billion won in the movie. The cast discusses the connection between the movie's failure and the company's stock. The director jokes that the drug incident ruined the box office projections. The lead actor says he'll probably get lucky and the movie will shoot, bringing in even more money. The director ignores the speculation by tasting the sake. He realizes now that it was a big gamble. The man avoids questions about introductions to the company. The guy changes the subject, praising the quality of the tuna. AI provides data on Cheolin Engineering. The company produced obsolete machinery that is still in use in 2082. But despite the usage, the cessation of production was in 2024, which is the year they are in now. Na Kang-in asks clarifying questions about the termination of production. The director is unable to explain the reasons, putting the blame on unforeseen circumstances. The guy comes up with a conspiracy theory against the movie. He doesn't understand how a successful company will cease to exist anytime soon. A man notices a connection between the sabotage at the site, Minji's kidnapping, and the company's operations. AI confirms anomalies in the data. The scene cuts off at the hint of a continuing investigation. Soon all will be clear. The guy links the drug scandal, the site collapse, and Minji's kidnapping into a single chain of events. The director notices his concern but doesn't understand why. The man walks out of the frame, leaving the director confused. He mumbles, "I'm not the problem, Mr. Lee is." The guy admits that the failure of the movie will jeopardize his father's company's stock. His attempts to maintain control seem naive. Guy notes that the situation is more complicated than it seems. AI captures hidden financial risks associated with pledging shares. The man avoids direct comment, but his silence indicates the seriousness of the situation. The director taps his fingers nervously on the table. Na Kang-in recalls the set collapse in Gangwon-do. His suspicions of sabotage are confirmed by recent events. The guy mentions signs of tampering on the structure. The AI analyzes the wreckage, but forensics finds no clear evidence. A man links the actor's arrest at a party to drugs and arson in Seoul. The director denies the connection, writing it off as a coincidence. The guy ties it all together, talking about how he's sure of it. It's just that he hasn't shown them all the evidence yet. The director denies the connection between the police raid and the reshoots. His confidence weakens at the mention of the plan and contingencies. The guy asks a provocative question: what if the incident had happened before the premiere? The man turns pale, realizing the magnitude of the threat. He's modeling a release failure scenario. The director is at a loss for words, and the actors are downcast in general. A man draws a gloomy scenario: the failure of the movie will lead to the collapse of the company and loss of shares. The director realizes a little bit. Guy points out a vulnerability in the scheme: the conspirators can attack his father's company through his mistakes. The director trembles as he imagines his father's reaction. Na-Kong coldly remarks, father's company can also be taken out through the director. They all continue to discuss what the young cook and stuntman have discovered. It is now clear to everyone that absolutely everything is not clean. Guy reveals the true purpose of Minji's kidnapping: to rob the director of his sanity and seize control of Cheolin Engineering stock. A man in a rage denies his involvement in visiting the site on the day of the collapse. His panic confirms that Na-Kong-in is right. He reconstructs the chain of events. The saboteurs knew the director's schedule and set a trap. The guy says that after his daughter was kidnapped, he wouldn't even think of losing 10 billion won on his failed movie. The director realizes that he has become a pawn in someone else's game. His visit to the set with his daughter was part of an elaborate plan. The guy talks about how even the website with the photo set for his daughter was faked in order to kidnap her. The guy demonstrates a scheme of attack: caving, drug scandal, kidnapping, all to put pressure on Cheolin Engineering. The director discusses the possible sabotage on the set. His theory is that the incident was created for chaos to facilitate Minji's kidnapping. The actress suggests that the intruders acted according to a clear plan. The director demands to find the customer through interrogations of the kidnappers, but Guy doubts their competence. The action switches to the police station, where someone is yelling that these bastards either don't know anything or don't want to talk. The kidnappers claim to have learned of Minji's presence on the set through rumors. Their motive is a ransom from a billionaire who adores his daughter. Na-Kong-in discovers that information about the child was spread in a bar without cameras. The director demands to check the place, but the traces have already been destroyed. The man notes the thoughtfulness of the operation: mountainous terrain, lack of witnesses. Police officers record a pattern of actions characteristic of professionals. No one knows anything, which makes it difficult to find the causes and the most important instigators of this plan. They look around at all the places they've been and realize there were no security cameras there either. The team discusses a hypothetical scenario of a failed movie. He outlines well the possible ways in which the situation could unfold. The director jokes that Na-Kong-in could have become a screenwriter because of his ability to anticipate events. The actors argue about roles in future projects, ignoring the seriousness of the situation. The boy silently observes the discussion without interfering. Everyone begins to disperse for home, even though they realize they could have had a couple more glasses of liquor. The party ends, but the man stays behind, analyzing data about Cheolin Engineering. Guy vows not to take any more risks with the company's stock. His brother criticizes adventurism, reminding him of the threat of a hostile takeover. Na-Kong-in notes that the attack on Cheolin Engineering required precise calculation. AI highlights the link between export deals and sabotage. The man avoids direct answers to his questions about his role in the case. He's going to save the company this year. Suddenly he's shouted down by a red-haired girl, and now she offers to have a drink with her. He says yes, but only with 3, alluding to her big balls. The girl is not very pleased. The action shifts to the company office of the father of the director of a movie production company. The head of Cheolin Engineering reacts angrily to the use of stock for the movie. His son excuses himself, calling the project a safe investment. Now his son Lee Tae-ho listens silently, analyzing corporate reports. His brother discovers rivals' attempts to sabotage export deals through scandals. Lee Tae-zong interrupts the meeting, stating that data protection needs to be strengthened. The director is left to justify himself to his father. Lee's brother mentions rumors of hostile takeovers. His son denies the threat, assuring that the stock is stable. Lee Tae-ho links these conversations to Minji's kidnapping. He identifies a pattern: attacks on reputation cause the stock to plummet and further takeover. The director tries to switch the subject to the success of the movie. The father still doubts his son's success. Lee Tae-ho talks about how the new action scene in one take will change everything absolutely. The director thanks Na-Kong-in for his help, but his father criticizes his naivety. The elder Lee orders the stock protection to be strengthened. His brother talks about how now he's just another mediocre actor, to which the director replies that it's not just an actor. The head of the family discusses with one of his sons that they don't understand where the attacks on their company are coming from. The scene cuts off amid the elder Lee's promise to disown his son in the event of new risks with the stock. As the son bows, he thinks about the fact that he was helped a lot by this stuntman. The elder Lee advises his son to reward Na Kang-in with a major role. The director chuckles, knowing that the boy avoids publicity. But that offer has already been accepted. Na Kang-in already has a starring role in his new movie. They sit all together in the theater, and the actors and the director himself, who says that the guy has a level much higher than the role given out. The girl receives an invitation to the premiere of the movie, but refuses due to busyness. But she only does this to hide her joy. The guy almost insistently suggests that she join him, referring to his free time. His other two assistants in the kitchen want that ticket too, since the blonde refuses. The girl mentions new employees and the automation of work, which allows them to avoid obligations. They joke about replacing people with robots. A group of women admire the promo of the movie, recognizing the actor Kim Yoo-chan in it. All the girls fall in love with him. His girlfriend compares Na Kang-in to the actor. Their unforgiving resemblance in that clip is disconcerting. A man ignores compliments, emphasizing the importance of work. The group insists on attending the premiere despite his objections. The narration switches to the big center where the movie premiere will take place. Someone tells the actors to stand and pose. Actress Shin Eun-ha poses in front of the cameras, fulfilling fan requests. The crowd notices Kim Yoo-chan, but he pretends not to hear the questions. Fans ask the redhead to make them a heart, and she kindly and smilingly shows her fans it. The man stands off to the side, watching the activity of all the actors at the event. Everyone looks at him in shock, but our protagonist is worried. Will his face appear in the movie? Agent AI says he noticed the stares of all the main actors on him. The camera captures the moment when the actor spots Na Kang-in in the crowd, but he is quickly pushed by a blue-haired girl. He's thrilled to see Kim Yoo-chan smiling in her direction. Her friend skeptically remarks that the gesture is addressed to the press. Na Kang-in moves stealthily around the room, avoiding confrontation with the reporters. But another actress notices him again. A man sees a girl he knows and realizes it's Shin Eun-ha. He decides that she says hello to him too. History repeats itself, only now the girl says the lead actress is addressing reporters. The group gathers at the entrance, discussing seating arrangements. The guy checks the tickets, ignoring the cheers of admiration. The blonde and the redhead for some reason immediately approach each other, causing surprise. The rest of the staff don't have time to approach, and they're already clamoring for an autograph. The guy is surprised to discover a mutual acquaintance of Na Kang-in and Shin Eun-ha. Her friend jokes about family ties, eliciting laughter. The girl briefly explains that the guy works at a computer club owned by the girl's uncle. The group discusses the coincidences in the biographies. The guy wonders how they know each other, also with similar names. The only differences are Ha and Seo, which makes them laugh. The girl reveals that she grew up in the same neighborhood as Shin Eun-ha. Her friend jokes about the dirt from the actress' childhood. Na Kang-in remains neutral as he watches the girls interact, talking to Kim Yoo-chan. His posture expresses a slight tension. The man notices the cameraman focusing on his informal interactions with the actors. The younger staff members marvel at how intimately they all know each other and how they even met. At this time, the guy with glasses talks about how maybe he should become an actor too. This suggestion makes the girl bored and disgusted. At this time, the girl he saved runs up to the young man. Minji tells him how she's doing. The wife and director happily announce that VIP seats have been reserved for Na Kang-in. Her friend jokes about treating him royally. A man refuses a special seat because he already has a ticket. The director says to leave it empty because he is the main actor. People in his entourage behave wildly, squabbling over a locale with a famous person or actor. Now everyone is seated in the theater and ready to watch the new movie properly. The director invites Na Kang-in to join the gratitude scene. The man refuses, citing his reluctance to be publicized. The guy reminds them that his role was a minor one and retires to the auditorium before the movie starts. The group discusses his modesty. The director talks about how a movie only premieres once, but okay, his wish is law. Without it, there would be no movie. The movie starts and the audience's eyes are fixed directly on the screen. It's about to happen. Even the computer club staff sit quietly and still, preparing to have an enjoyable time. The audience in the cinema hall gasps in amazement at the unexpected plot twist. The climactic fight between the protagonist and the antagonist flashes on the screen. The guy watches the audience's reaction, noting the unusual involvement of the audience. His companions whisper, admiring the quality of the action scenes. The man notices the cameraman capturing the emotions of the viewers for promotional materials. Na Kong-in remains unfazed as he analyzes the editing decisions. After the movie ends, the first person stands up and starts clapping for those who made this wonderful movie. The audience in the movie theater stands up and claps and shouts, marveling at the quality of the movie and the story. They are grateful to the people who made it. The guy thanks the crew for their work, emphasizing their contribution to the success of the movie. The screen shows footage from the shoot, including some risky stunts. The audience can't come away from the fact that the movie was great for a long time. 2 hours passed unnoticed and the genre is very unusual. The director announces the start of the question session. Almost all the actors stand on the stage and wait for the next actions of the head. At the press conference, the director admits that the scene with the collapse of the scenery is a real incident. The journalists are actively recording his words. The man emphasizes that no one was hurt and the material was used with the team's permission. The audience reacts with a mixture of admiration and bewilderment. Na Kong-in analyzes the possible consequences for the reputation of the project. His companions discuss the ethics of such a decision. The director passes the word to the cast, but Guy stays behind the scenes, refusing to comment. A journalist asks Shin Eun-ha about her psychological trauma after the incident. After all, it may well have left a mark on her. The actress assures that she feels good thanks to the prompt rescue. Some of the crew came to her rescue. Now journalists are asking the lead actor about whether he was the mysterious savior? The man jokingly calls the food truck worker Uncle the hero, shifting his attention to Na Kong-in. He's a little annoyed at being called Uncle. The actor goes on to reveal even more details about the similarities in their build, as well as the fact that he then called him out for his role as a stuntman, the guy mentally asking him not to look here. The audience slowly ebbs and flows, still discussing all the positive and some controversial aspects of the movie. Contradictory opinions appear in the network. Some praise the film, others criticize the rush of production. On the forum, users argue about the quality of editing. A man reads the comments, noting the growing popularity of the project. The AI detects a spike in mentions of Na Kong-in in the context of stunts. The girl at work is jubilant to see the rating of their movie on the first position. The guy remains indifferent, checking new tasks on his phone. He asks, why does she call the movie her own? She says that for her, the lead actor is like family. The girl suggests that Na Kong-in become an actor, admiring his hidden talents. Na Kong-in says no, citing that he's busy at the computer club and other things. The girl laughs and says a guy like him can't have serious business, but still, what kind of business? The guy mentions a mission for the Earth Alliance, but the interlocutor doesn't take it seriously. Their dialogue is interrupted for the time being. She looks at him puzzled, can't tell if it's true or not, since the guy's face doesn't reflect a fraction of sarcasm. She gets behind him saying that yes, she believes him, of course he's saving the Earth. The director of the company that made the movie appears in the frame and laughs loudly, rejoicing at the success of his movie. The action shifts to the company's office, where he and his director friend rejoice in their achievements in movie making. The director assures his friend and business partner that there was no chance of not satisfying the audience. The director says that the movie will soon garner 10 million reviews and the dream director will become a hit director. The man admits that in the first days the movie theaters were empty and so now he is very happy. All the halls are packed. The director wants to make the next movie all action noir. The man says that Son seems to be working with romance, but the man replies that he has a trump card up his sleeve. Director Sung offers Na Kong-in to direct a blockbuster movie with a generous budget. He's sure the guy won't turn down the lucrative deal. Lee talks about how he should have talked to him first before making a blockbuster and worldwide hit. But he likes the idea. The director asks, did Son call the young guy, to which the director insists on calling him immediately. Na Kong-in gets a call on his phone and looks at him in bewilderment in his work uniform. An unknown number is displayed on the screen and the guy, in order not to be discouraged by strangers, resets it. Billboards appear on the facades of buildings, creating publicity for an already successful movie. Shin Eun-ha and Kim Yoo-chung appear on the air. The host marvels at their popularity while asking about their workload. The actor mentions a stream of promotional offers. His smile is strained as if hiding fatigue. A reporter asks about the set collapse on set. Shin Eun-ha admits that the incident was real. The actress praises the stuntman who saved her from the metal beams. Without him, neither the movie nor she would be alive. The man looks away in embarrassment. He is asked where he was at the time. He says he was just picked up and thrown off the site so he wouldn't get pelted with debris. Girl jokes about the professionalism of the food truck guy. But even without special skills, he's amazing. Kim Yu-chong talks about the stunt of stopping the car. The viewers can't believe that the scene didn't use computer graphics. They don't remember a scene inside the movie, and so the guy closes his stupid mouth and thinks what to do. The actress tries to change the subject by praising the stuntman's cooking skills. Her voice trembles with excitement. Live on air, viewers demand an explanation about the car stunt. The chat is filled with questions and emoticons. Both actors realize that they seem to have screwed up on live TV. His face is contorted with fear of failure. The director panics and calls the team into an emergency meeting. He says the guy's a complete idiot. He's in a room with a marketer from T-Cho Entertainment. He realizes that they clearly need to do something. A man discusses with his team to postpone the release of information 20 days earlier. His colleague panics, suggesting alternative solutions. The interlocutor's voice sounds insistent, demanding immediate action. Otherwise, they will not succeed. Suddenly someone calls the principal and he picks up his phone with mild irritation and looks to see who it is. Lee Dae-ho gets a call from Na Kang-in. He is ready to chat with him about the future of the project. He communicates about the incident with the principal and talks about how it's not that bad. The director rejoices at the guy's good attitude, because he really is a hero. But despite this, they have one way to solve the problem. The kid suggests turning the Minji incident into a publicity stunt. He insists on emphasizing spectacle over tragedy. The man reluctantly agrees, demanding that his name not be mentioned. His posture is tense, but his voice remains calm. The director cheerfully thanks, anticipating the success of the whole idea. The stage switches to a huge mixing console. The announcement of a musical break with White Eagle is heard in the background. The actor is in tears, begging not to be fired. He's beating his head against the wall because of his stupidity. He's willing to do anything except leave the industry. Literally, a leader can wish for anything he wants. The marketer interrupts the hysterics by ordering a spin on the rescue story. His hand points sharply at the release schedule. The guy is silent about the next steps, smoking a cigarette on the bench. He records the mention of the food truck guy in the CEO's plans. The actress announces the start of the break and that the guy should get ready quickly. He says he understands. The studio is discussing the details of Minji's kidnapping. The guest gesticulates emotionally while describing the stuntman's feat. The actor says they clearly saw the broadcast through their phone. His face remains impassive despite the laudatory comments. The screen switches to analyzing the video. The viewers argue about the physical capabilities of the mysterious hero. An analyst parses a stuntman's stunts, comparing his speed to Olympic records. Graphs fill the screen. Commentators joke about the hero's Olympic career. One of them suggests signing him to the team to raise the rating. Guy flips through the chat, noting the flurry of mentions of food track. He closes the tab when he sees his nickname in the discussion. Na Kang-in discusses the prospect of participating in the Olympics with his agent. He rejects the idea because of doping tests. The man jokes about baseball but gets a similar response. His gaze slides to the temporary base diagram in the PC room. The interlocutor reminds him of the importance of rest. Na Kang-in nods while checking out the new assignments from the Alliance. A notification pops up on the phone screen to transfer 5 million won. The numbers are in bold. The guy cursorily checks the details of the payment. His finger lingers on the name of the sender, T-Cho Entertainment. They sent him the money for nothing. The girl admires the video, certain that the hero is Na Kang-in. Her eyes are burning with excitement, her fingers quickly flipping the screen. Her friend snickers skeptically, doubting the guy's uniqueness. She switches the video, looking for proof. The girl insists, comparing the stunts to Olympic records. Her voice trembles with excitement as if she knows the hero personally. And really, the guy remembers how skillful Na Kang-in is, and the doubts are slowly dissipated. The action switches to the main character himself. He's lying on a bed scratching his ear. There's your hero. A red-headed girl walks into a PC club. I think we all know why she came here. The visitor timidly inquires about Na Kongin's whereabouts. Her gaze wanders to the walls hung with food posters. She is greeted by a blonde and asked, what is she doing here? In these super busy days. She says she wants to talk to Na Kongin. The girl says he's right there, lives in his room upstairs. The girl asks why Na Kongin is living in a computer club. Her eyebrows are raised in mute question. The receptionist shrugs, mentioning the temporary circumstances. Her gaze slides toward the closed door. Her friend jokes about living together, eliciting laughter. Her hand involuntarily touches her hair, masking her embarrassment. The guy at the door hears the conversation but continues to set up the equipment. His fingers are rapidly typing the code. The girl decides to enter, dismissing her doubts. Her footsteps echo down the empty corridor. Na Kongin bumps into a female visitor at the exit. His gaze expresses slight surprise, but his posture remains relaxed. A girl apologizes for Kim Yu-chan's words on the air. Her voice trembles as if she is waiting for judgment. The boy nods quietly, avoiding a direct stare. He smiles and is active, masking his fatigue. She says the guy who turned in his story got his ass kicked hard at home. The kid asks, did the girl come here just to tell this, or does she have any other ideas? The conversation turns to the food at the club. The girl says she's heard about the wonderful food at this place. She wants to try it very badly. The guy announces that he won't be cooking today. His tone sounds distant, as if he's already thinking elsewhere. The girl slams her hands indignantly on the counter. Her eyes widen with disappointment and curiosity. Na Kongin explains that he's not looking for a new place to live. Circumstances forced him to live here. The girl is impressed by the depth of Na Kongin's personality. She senses a big story behind him. Her friend offers to help, but is politely declined. Her lips tighten, hiding her resentment. The guy walks outside, leaving the door ajar. A girl flashes behind him. The guy shows the girl a modest studio with a refrigerator and air conditioning. Her eyebrows are raised in bewilderment at the choice of accommodation. The girl asks why he didn't shoot something better after the fee. Her hand points to the cracks in the wall as if to emphasize the inconsistency. The interlocutor insists on helping him find a decent place to live. Her voice sounds insistent, but the guy remains indifferent. Kongin calmly mentions the amount of 5 million won. His gaze slides over him and realizes he's not lying. Shin Eun-ha calls her supervisor, begging her not to punish Kim Yu-chan. Her fingers are clutching the phone, revealing her excitement. The man behind the desk sarcastically asks about the reason for the call. His punishment isn't over yet. The girl turns the conversation to Na Kongin's fee. She mentions 5 million, emphasizing the unfairness of the amount. The manager taps his pen thoughtfully on a document. Folders with the THO Entertainment logo are visible on the desk. Lee Dae-ho's wife is furious, demanding an explanation about the paltry payment. His hand slaps the table sharply, causing the cup to shake. Kim Yu-chan is in the corner of the room timidly apologizing. The girl is on the phone with the offending person. Na Kongin listens silently, leaning against the wall. The redhead is already saying that it's time for her to run away from here. She talks about how until they respond on the fee increase they need to go see better places. Director Song explains the error in payment with paperwork. His arms are spread out to the sides, depicting helplessness. Lee Dae-ho snorts contemptuously, calling the amount ridiculous. He orders the money to be transferred immediately. Na Kongin checks the transfer notification on his phone. His face remains impassive, as if this is part of the plan. He's already looking around the new apartment, and a large sum of 100 million won falls into his pocket. The girl enthusiastically describes the advantages of the apartment. Her hands draw a diagram of the furniture arrangement in the air. The guy silently examines the windows, assessing the viewing angles. His gaze rests on the fire escape across the street. She offers to buy a car with the rest of the money. Her eyes sparkle as if she can already see him behind the wheel. Na Kongin nods while hiding a smile. He is pleased that the girl helped him so much. The guy turns around sharply, questioning his motives for helping. His voice sounds cold as steel. The girl freezes, dropping the notebook. Her lips quiver, but the words stick in her throat. A clock ticks on the wall, heightening the tension. A beam of light from the window divides the room into light and shadow. Na Kongin takes a step forward, demanding an answer. He asks, does this girl like him or what? The girl flushes, denying any feelings. Her hands gesture sharply, revealing embarrassment and irritation. She reminds him that she helped him with no ulterior motive. His posture remains relaxed as if he expected this reaction. The conversation turns into an argument. The girl slams the door, leaving Na Kong in alone. Her footsteps echo down the hallway. He covers his ears and talks about how her screams gave him a headache. The guy jokes about saving her, but her voice trembles. He actually thanks her for being so helpful. The girl says she didn't help to hear such things. She wants to talk to him in person. The interviewee admits that she still has nightmares. Her gaze is fixed on the window, where the shadows of passers-by flicker. Na Kangin offers to help, but the wording sounds dry. The girl nods, hiding her tears behind a smile. The girl describes the fear of staying in the dark. Her fingers clutch the edge of her dress as if trying to hold on to reality. She talks about how her dark, big and empty house has become a cage and a trap for her. She can't be there properly. Nightmares continue in real life, and the girl cannot get rid of them. After all, the red-haired girl talks about how she would feel much safer with this guy. But the kid apparently stopped listening to her sob story midway through and pulls up while he looks out the window and enjoys the view. The action moves to the market of used or broken cars. Here the hero thinks to find a britchka. Kong In is looking at an old car at the market. The seller shrugs his shoulders and tells him to scrap it. The girl pulls the guy by the sleeve, pointing to the newer models. Her voice sounds insistent, but he ignores the advice. The salesman scoffs, warning of the risks. Na Kangin nods, realizing the full extent of the machine's breakdown. A guy opens the hood of a car and asks the AI, can it fix this old car? The condition under the hood is a bit depressing, but basically the car looks serviceable. E says he still has the manuals for fixing century-old cars, so they can fix it. The guy slams the hood shut and says he's taking it. The seller shakes his hand, happy with the deal. The girl says they can take a better look at the car. The car jerks and stalls. The salesman warns him and the guy says it's no problem, just let him get the stage down good. He does agree to buy this car and the girl behind him is just in shock, not believing the deal going on. He goes on to discuss fixing the car and picking a place to do it in the restroom. Two offers to rent a special place and is already preparing a map with places to do so. They discuss another ad and now they have a couple more places they can rent. The AI says that now he has to find parts to fix his new car. A guy brings an old car to an abandoned garage. The girl looks at the rusty body, her face contorted with bewilderment. The redhead keeps calling the car trash, much to the chagrin of its new owner. He says it's awesome. She asks if he's related to director Sung's new horror movie. Her voice sounds suspicious, as if she's looking for a hidden meaning. Na Kangin calmly denies the speculation. His hand opens the gate and she steps inside. The girl twirls her keys in her hands, glancing nervously around the dark corners of the room. Her shadow trembles on the wall from the flashlight. The girl watches Na Kangin disassemble the engine. Her eyebrows are raised in doubt. Are you sure you know what you're doing? The man shows a thick manual with details. It's all detailed here. His tone is confident, but the girl hums. She jokes about blowing up the car, squinting. Her finger points to the twisted wires under the hood. Kong-in reminds her that he didn't call her to come with him, and he rented the garage a whole year in advance. The girl stomps her foot. Why did I even come here? Her voice echoes through the empty hangar. The guy coldly replies that it's her choice. His hands continue to work the machine. She grabs her bag, pretending to leave. Her footsteps are loud, but the door is locked from the outside. Na Kong-in points out the lack of traffic around. The girl crosses her arms, muttering about him being an idiot. She talks about how she doesn't care, she'll call her manager and he'll get her out of here. Already pulling out her cell phone. The girl shakes the phone, no signal. Her finger frantically pokes at the call button, but the screen goes blank. She realizes she's trapped here and immediately she starts to dream about how monsters will be climbing out of every hole when night falls. Na Kong-in grins. I had it all planned out. His shadow on the wall looks ominous under the flickering light. She backs away from the wall, clutching her bag to her chest. Stay back. Her eyes widen with panic. A rumble of thunder drowns out her exclamation. A bird slaps the roof, reinforcing the feeling of being trapped. Even from the street you can hear her screaming that she's not ready for this turn of events. Na Kong-in points to the disassembled engine. Hold the wrench. His tone doesn't tolerate any objections. The girl hesitantly picks up the tool. She yells that she doesn't want to get dirty in this garage. The AI demonstrates how to disassemble the mechanism by pointing to a diagram. Its fingers move quickly like a fine-tuned machine. The girl jokes about his overconfidence, recalling a movie with a similar plot. Her laughter sounds nervous, but curiosity takes over. The man ignores his doubts, reassembling the parts in reverse order. His memory works with impeccable precision. The girl notices that his hands move with robotic precision. Her gaze shifts between the tools and his face. The guy orders her to drive for the test. His tone sounds like an order, leaving no room for objection. She hesitates, remembering his promise of safety. Her fingers grip the steering wheel, as if testing its strength. The car starts with a quiet hum, surprising the girl. Her eyes widen at the unexpected smoothness of the ride. She compares his skills to his cooking skills, laughing. The guy parries the joke, keeping his businesslike demeanor. The girl asks about the rental apartment and the garage. Nakhangan talks about the apartment they will live in. And as for the question about the purpose of renting the garage, this purpose is to serve as a base for production. The girl insists on an answer but only gets a promise to take her home. Her eyebrows furrow in annoyance. There is an awkward silence in the cabin. The lights of the night city flickered outside the window, illuminating his stony expression. The girl asks for help with smart lighting, citing a fear of the dark. Her voice sounds faintly pitiful. The guy offers to call a specialist, but she insists on his help. Her smile doesn't hide her true motives. He almost agrees, hiding his irritation. She continues to talk about her fears. The girl confesses to nightmares about the set collapsing. Her arms shake, hugging herself around her shoulders. The AI compares her symptoms to soldiers' PTSD. His tone sounds clinically detached. She laughs unexpectedly, turning the conversation to the absurdity of the comparison. He says that it is the duty of a member of an organization of land defenders to help. The guy eventually agrees with help for this girl and goes to her house. The shot moves already to the inside of her house, where the guy has fixed all the wiring and lights. The guy starts up the test lighting system. The bright light floods the room, making the girl squeeze her eyes shut. She claps her hands delightedly, forgetting her previous fears. Her shadow dances on the wall in time with her delight. The man silently adjusts the settings. His face remains impassive, though the girl is very grateful. The girl offers to stay and taste the deliciousness she has prepared. Her eyes glow with excitement as if it were a quest. The guy agrees to try something she has in her house to eat. She claps her hands happily and talks about how he'll be happy with where she's taking him now. A girl offers to visit a restaurant with a famous chef. Her eyes glow with excitement as if it were a quest. The boy agrees, citing the need to learn the local culture. His motives remain a mystery. The girl teases the guy, asking if he just wants to eat. Her smile is playful, but her eyes betray curiosity. She compares the restaurant's cuisine to her skills. It is also quite famous. Shin Eun-ha proudly declares that the reservation at the restaurant is hers. Her hand with the phone is raised like a trophy. The girl is surprised because the place is considered exclusive. The actress smiles slyly. "I'm Shin Eun-ha." Behind her back, you can see the logo of the place labeled VIP. Shin Eun-ha explains that she got the reservation through an acquaintance of the chief. Her finger points to the number on her phone as proof. The guy asks who the table was originally intended for. His voice sounds suspicious, like he's looking for a catch. The actress abruptly changes the subject, dragging her companion to a table. Her laughter echoes in the empty lobby. The guy notices that the girl's plans have gone awry. His gaze slides to the phone screen with canceled notifications. She waves her hand as if waving the problem away. Her steps quicken and they walk toward the food. The girl takes the guy to a cafe instead of a restaurant. Her gestures are theatrical. It's part of the date. She explains the plan: coffee, then dinner on the 7th floor. Her smile doesn't hide the nervous twitching of her eyelids. The guy looks around at the visitors of the establishment and notices that he feels a part of the society. He is just like everyone else. Shin Eun-ha calls to confirm the reservation. Her voice sounds sweet, but her fingers clutch the phone in a white-knuckle grip. The restaurant employee reports that there is no entry. Her face turns red and her fingernails. Shin Eun-ha yells into the tube in a rage, "How dare you!" She got up from the table and caught the attention of all the customers. The guy watches the scene, barely holding back a grin. His hand reaches into his pocket for his car keys. A girl tearfully remarks that her reservation turned out to be unimportant. This situation upsets her very much. The girl offers to leave, but the guy stops her. He offers to take some delicious food right there. She takes the lead, heading for the receptionist's desk. His steps are confident, as if he knows his way out. Shin Eun-ha rushes away from the table. Along the way, people recognize her as a famous actress. The guy orders coffee, ignoring the girl's panic. Even the AI appreciated that cup of coffee. The action switches to the building below. Right at the entrance, something is about to happen. A security guy is standing in a store and hears some noise that interests him. Suddenly, the metal shutters come down. The guard jumps up, panic flashing in his eyes. He sees a bunch of people wearing Batman and other masks. He realizes they're muggers. One of them sprawls and kicks the guard in the stomach with all his might. This clearly disarms him. He lies on the floor in front of a man with an iron case in his hands. It turns out to be their leader. He says that their target is in Penelope's cafe on the 7th floor. Their mission is to check every floor and every person in the building. The girl's trembling voice expressed extreme indignation at the injustice. She yelled at the chief for canceling the reservation. The chief's reticence was read in his avoidant gaze, as if he was withholding important details when explaining Shin Eun-ha's temporary armor status. The chief said she took the reservation at the very last minute and talks about her reservation being last minute and unofficial. The girl says she should have been warned in advance. He apologizes and says her ignorance was his mistake. He talks about servicing her properly next time, but he can't do that at the moment. The girl says that next time it will be difficult for her to call her companion. He asks, "Who is it?" But she dismisses the question. The action moves to Penelope's restaurant, where the target of the bandits is supposed to be sitting. In this very establishment sits the director of a movie production company. He's on the phone discussing his business. The interlocutor asks, "Is the guy going to eat here alone?" He says his wife is busy, so yes. The guy brushes it off and says they should talk later. Lee is a little upset by this. He talks about how eating alone is not his topic and notices a girl with a cook. The director comes up to them and says that this is an actress he knows. She recognizes him too and calls him by name. The girl says it was the chief who canceled her reservation here, though she really wanted to. The president of the firm is overjoyed and says he's inviting them to sit down with him, her, and Na Kang-in. The girl's strained smile couldn't hide its artificiality when the suggestion of a compromise in the form of adding a third interlocutor was voiced. It turns out that this table was originally for a girl, just the director bought it by accident. Analyzing the aroma and composition of the coffee, Na Kang-in remained unconcerned with the jokes, the machine-like movements of his fingers moving the cup. The whispering AI in the earpiece commenting on the subtle nuances of flavor was interrupted by a gesture from the guy whose attention was completely absorbed in observing what was going on around him. He looks at his phone and sees that the girl hasn't answered his text message in a while. She left and hasn't come back. He's had enough of this for a long time, but he's only sitting here to be polite. He jokes about the AI glitches coinciding with the sudden loss of signal. The AI, as usual, doesn't get any jokes. The guy looks at his watch and realizes that it's been 20 minutes since the girl left. A quick check showed a complete lack of communication on all devices. Na Kang-ying's wary gaze slid to the lowered fire curtains on the first floor. The AI's message about blocking all exits caused the guy to discreetly activate a handheld scanner, analyzing radio frequencies. The man's confident tone allowed no objection, ordering him to follow. A quick scan yielded results. Na Kang-in fixes the automatic closing of the fire shutters. His gaze instantly analyzes the situation, noting the absence of alarms. AI warns of armed men on the 2nd floor. A man clenches his fists as he assesses the threat level in peaceful South Korea. The guy stops abruptly, indicating the sounds of weapons reloading from above. Now it is necessary to act quickly and boldly. The AI insists on evacuating through the window. Na Kang-in frowns, reminding the assistant of the height of the 2nd floor. The shadow of an armed man flickers outside the door. Na Kang-ying's fingers involuntarily clutched the edge of the table. The guy kicks down the door and goes inside the cafe with his men. The shot echoes through the hall. The visitors freeze, huddling against the walls. One of the attackers orders silence. The bandits stand in front of all the people and talk about how they should keep their behavior down. He puts the gun to his lips and says that anyone who makes a sound will be shot immediately. Everyone around them raised their hands in shock and covered their mouths. The bandits clearly weren't kidding. The director doesn't understand. Is this a joke or a prank? The faces of the cook and the people around him prove the seriousness of what is happening. Director Lee Dae-ho orders him to remain calm. His face is covered in sweat, but his voice sounds convincing. Shin Eun-ha whispers about calling for backup. Her fingers frantically clutch the phone with the shattered screen. She says she's gonna call him now and he'll sort it out. She's already got a gun pointed at her head. The bandit grabs her and says, phones are forbidden if she wants to keep her puny life. An attempt to call somewhere fails. A girl with a horrified face drops the device. He puts them up against the wall at gunpoint. They are not allowed to move any more on their own. Shin Eun-ha presses herself against the cold wall. Her breathing quickens, hoping that Na Kang will help them. The director says that Na Kangin won't help them because he won't go up against a gun. The guy looks up at the window and thinks about how he can get higher and escape. His conscience tells him that the military's job is always to help citizens who are in trouble. Tension is at its peak. Na Kangin realizes that running away is not an option in his situation. He must save everyone. Armed masked men block the exits. One of them points a gun at the people. The spectators in the audience mistake what is happening for a play. Some of them are laughing, trying to take pictures on their phones. A silenced pistol is pointed at the visitor's face. The trembling man's hands slowly rise up. The woman in the corner drops her glass. The sound of shattered glass drowns out the click of the fuse. The guy asks AI to analyze the weapons the bandits use. The AI analyzes the attacker's weapons, modified 9mm pistols with noise suppressors. The technology is clearly not indigenous. The protagonist assesses the situation. No equipment, the enemy is outnumbered. His fingers clutch the edge of the table, preparing for a dash. The AI insists on retreating. The response is a barely perceptible answer. It's not going anywhere. The robot asks, is there any reason on this other than to protect all citizens? Shin Eun-ha presses herself against the cold window. The 7th floor is a trap for the protagonist's companion. The girl mumbles Na Kang-ying's name. Hope melts away with each step of heavy boots outside the door. Director Lee Dae-ho whispers about taking over the upper levels. His gaze searches unsuccessfully for escape routes through the corridor. One of the hostages recognizes the woman in the suit, the head of Omegatecha's military department. Whispers of targets spread through the room. The attacker rudely interrupts the conversation, taking aim at the speaker. His finger on the trigger is trembling. He is obviously new to this kind of operation. The director looks around anxiously, still afraid that they will kill all the witnesses or take hostages. Lee Dae-ho explains how he got trapped. His voice is interrupted by the sound of breaking dishes as the kitchen is being searched. The girl in the expensive dress was Scarlet Kelly. She was the one the principal's brother was supposed to meet with today. He realizes he is now the only one in this building who is connected to the bandits' target. A barrel is pointed at them and a couple of rude retorts that they should shut up if they don't want their faces shot through. The gang leader offers a deal, money in exchange for the access code. His voice sounds sweet, but his eyes are cold as steel. Scarlet Kelly shakes her head slowly. Her fingers clutch the edge of the chair, her nails digging into her skin. She tells them to say how much they'll be paid. She'll double the amount and no one in the building will be hurt. The bandit just laughs in her face, saying that in this case it's far from about money. She tells him to put the gun away. If they shoot her, they'll never get the access codes. Bandit says that's what they're going to test now. They're going to kill everyone slowly. And there's a lot of people he could kill with no remorse at all. The AI builds a 3D map of the building from the sounds. It delineates shooting zones as well as possible hiding places. He hears the first shot, a warning shot, but the second one for what? At someone? Broken glass scatters on the floor, creating a loud noise. The attackers use the sound as a psychological weapon, increasing fear among the hostages. A small child can't stand it and screams in fear all over the floor. The thug points a gun at them and tells the lady to shut her child up already. The child cries, clinging to her mother. Her attempt to soothe her is interrupted by a rude shout from the bandit, who points a gun in their direction. The tension is reaching its limit. Fingers on the trigger are trembling. The situation is ready to spiral out of control at any moment. All the children are crying. AI alerts you when a shot is being prepared. Reaction time is reduced to fractions of a second. The protagonist appears behind the masked freak's back and tells him that justice has arrived and is just around the corner. A joke about police attention hangs in the air. The sarcastic tone contrasts sharply with the pale faces of those around him. He strikes a funny pose to draw the attention of the thugs from the civilians to him for as long as possible. He begins to moralize all the bandits, saying that scaring Scarlet children and their moms is not a good thing to do. The bandit explodes and in a frenzy threatens to shoot him right there, but his partner says the guy is behind glass. Tip is already trying to pull the trigger to kill the bastard he hates. But suddenly, Na Konging appears behind the shooter's back and kicks his foot in the air with all his might. The guy turns around in shock to face the punch. He didn't even notice the one that went around him. With one blow, he breaks the bandit's bones, preventing him from further attempts to aim and shoot anyone. From the blow, the gun flies under the table and the shooter falls to the ground, unable to get up. The bandit reloads his gun, muttering curses. His bullets don't hit the protagonist, he's so fast. Turns out for some reason the glass in the cafe is armor-piercing and so there is no sound of breaking glass. The guy hides from the bullets behind a wooden table and all the thugs are shocked at how he dodges the bullets. As soon as they move to reload, the guy throws a table at them at the speed of their own bullets, punching his way through the bodies of the bandits. He runs like a flush and knocks down several bandits at once with one punch. They clearly didn't expect such abilities. Now almost all of the bandits are on the floor or in corners. Our hero has quickly neutralized a whole group of non-humans. One of the laying men points his barrel to his back and prepares to shoot like a rat. He pulls the trigger and the bullet pierces through the main character's body, leaving red marks everywhere. The AI projected the trajectory of the bullet on the screen. Na Kongin's fingers clutch the edge of the table, muscles tense for a dash to the safe zone. The hostages freeze, ducking to the floor. Shards of plaster fall to the table, mixing with the spilled coffee. Turns out the bullet only slightly grazed the protagonist's shoulder. Na Kongin jumps and flips in midair. The masked man reloads his gun, aiming at Na Kongin's back. The shooter is shocked how this guy dodged literally every bullet flying at him. He flips in midair and swings his leg. The immobilized thug already realizes and accepts his fate. He punches him and presses him into the ground, breaking the floor tiles with the shooter's skull. After the battle, all that remains is destruction and unconscious bodies of bandits. But the people are alive. All the adults are surprised. They didn't even think the kid could save them all. The child pulls Na Kongin by his bloody sleeve. The mother tries to pull him away, mumbling apologies through her tears. The AI suggests that blood is unlikely to have a positive effect on the psyche of children. It needs to cover the blood with something. He takes his attacker by his underpants and pulls them tightly hard, embarrassing everyone around him. The kids don't know what he's doing, but the kid pulls his underwear over his head to keep the blood out. Guy covers the children's eyes, leading them to the far corner. Her whisper merges with the hum of the ventilation. The trophies are neatly laid out on the table: 3 pistols, 8 magazines. Fingers run over the weapons, assessing the remaining ammunition. The AI is building a heat map of the building. The 3 red spots on the 7th floor are a group of invaders near the elevator shafts. The kid looks at all the people and says he's separating them into groups and they will be required to escape from here. The AI suggests sabotage for the sake of sneaking in yards of terrorists. He rips the masks off his attackers and sees people of some strange ethnicity underneath. The girl in the expensive suit, Scarlet Kelly, endures humiliation, unwilling to give information. A glass champagne bottle shatters into shards. A woman in an evening dress falls unconscious, dousing herself with sparkling wine. Her face reflects tired fear and the realization of her own helplessness. Many raise Urks in order to stay with Na Kongin and attack the bandits. He picks 4 men and thinks, is 4 men with guns enough? Former military men reveal their skills. One served in the tank forces, another is a champion marksman. Their experience becomes the key to organizing the defense. Na Kongin assigns roles, entrusting 2 men with children to guard the cafe. The logic is simple: terrorists rarely use families as cover. A single member jokes about his status, eliciting nervous laughter. The guy ignores the remark, checking his ammunition. The instructions are clear: don't pass weapons to outsiders, avoid windows. The 2 chosen men nod, clutching their pistols with sweaty palms. The cafe windows are darkened, but snipers could be hiding in the buildings across the street. The AI is scanning for infrared signatures. So far, so clean. A rabbit radio mask lies on the table. The wires stick out of the case, giving away the artisanal modification for short conversations. The guy adjusts the device to imitate the voice of the bandit leader. The artificial timbre sounds unnatural, but it's good for deception. He listens to noises from upstairs. The whispers merge with the hum of the ventilation. Something's going on up there. Na Kongin turns to E and requires him to analyze the voice of the man in the rabbit mask. A voice over the radio rudely demands a report. Na Kangin copies the intonation, mimicking the conflict among the attackers. He orders them to keep moving. The three targets are approaching the ladders. He stands up and asks everyone present, "Does anyone have a pocket mirror?" The girl hands over the mirror with trembling hands. She hopes it will play a role in saving people. Na Kangin is studying the circuitry of the disconnected elevators. The alternative route is ventilation, but the diameter is too small for an adult. An argument about the professionalism of terrorists is interrupted by a conversation. The guy freezes and prepares to go into combat mode. The bandits talk about how all these people are not fighters and have nothing to fear. The AI builds a heat map. 5 allies are scattered around the floor. Soon their fate will be decided. He understands from the conversations these fighters have never worked with each other, so it's not exactly an organized gang. The AI is projecting the trajectories of the enemies. The guy realizes his leader and the girl on the 7th floor. The guy's up against the wall, counting the seconds. Then he jumps out from behind the partition and prepares to strike. The first blow echoes in the empty hallway. Now there is one immobilized body lying on the stairs. He stands behind the counter and looks in the mirror at the man strutting around. The calculations point to another gunman, a guard in camouflage hiding behind the reception desk. His uniform blends in with the interior. He beats him too, so there are no extra witnesses and no terrorists on the floors.